All right, I just need to verify with those of you guys who are already here right off the bat that the audio is working and everything. Obviously, first time I'm streaming to a new channel, so I want to make sure that everything's working. Am I loud enough? Is the music quiet enough? I'm going to leave it on in the background of this stream, so I want it to be quiet enough that you guys can hear me. So while I'm speaking, is the music distracting? I can turn it down. Audio is good and leveled. Wow, that's never happened before. That is improbable that I would get that on first try. Not going to lie. I mean, the settings are all theoretically right, but notifications are cut off in the bottom right. Okay, I haven't seen those notifications pop up, but I can certainly... I'm not sure what would be cutting them off. What notifications? Like, what have people done that has been cut off? Having stream start off without issues? No way. Dude, too real, too real. But welcome, everybody, to the first ever TBL stream. Like, new follow... Yeah, but it has... Hold on, let me go into Streamlabs and just, like, do a test one so that I can see what it looks like. And that way I can get a sense of what I actually need to do. Sorry, I probably got really quiet right there because I turned my head. Right now, literally... Monday, I'm getting a new desk, and it's going to allow me to put my computer and my second monitor in a way that is much more cohesive to streaming. But right now, I don't have it, so let me just like test follow, see what happens. Wait, that went up way too quick. Okay. Oh, I see the problem here. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. I didn't crop it or anything, so that's super weird that it would be. I can make that. I guess I have to. Whoops. Why is that? Hold on. I might have to edit. I might have to edit the actual... Okay, hold on. This is why we do this. This is why we do a first stream with some testing. That's still way too large. It's the right color. But also, why is it... On save settings? Does that change anything? Aha! Okay. We got that. Now, are the other ones also too large? Yeah, they're way too large. Okay. That means I have to change each one individually. Hold on. Is there a way to fix that? No, I have to do this one each one by one. All right. Let's do it. Not that I'm going to get any subscriptions during this stream or anything, because we don't even have a... I don't have any way to get subscriptions. I don't have any way to get donations set up right now. I think bits are probably enabled, but honestly, I haven't even thought about it. Haven't tried to set them up, so... why won't you open? There you go. Apparently, Streamlabs has a setting for face mask donation. Like, special... announcement thing? I don't even know, man. Dude, I would just like to point out that we have almost as many viewers as we have followers on this channel right now. Alright, the other ones I'm not even going to worry about. So save settings. So now if I test like a... I'm just going to... Hold on. Just going to fix some of this other stuff up real quick. Actually... Not going to worry about it. They're not going to make any noises right now. I haven't decided on what noises I want them to make. So they're just not going to make noises. I appreciate y'all sticking through with this right now. All right, so then let me just test a follow. Boom, we're looking good on that. It's the exact same color as the background. Perfect. That makes it really easy to tell who it was. That's a little bit... It's a little bit more awkward, but hopefully the names aren't that long, so it's going to be okay. Donation. All right. Cool. Hosts. Yeah, we're looking good on hosts. Looking good on bits. All right, cool. So, looks like we have fixed the problem. I can change all the colors later. I'm not going to stress about it too much. I don't expect to be getting too many of those pop-ups today. Although there immediately is a host from Alice the Ferrothorn. Thanks so much for the host. Really appreciate that. So hopefully those pop up throughout the stream as they show up, and I will be doing my best to keep an eye on it, but obviously without there being sound on those, to not distract from the stream now or in general, it is going to be something that I have to manage throughout the time. So anyway, I promised a stream that started at 4 o'clock. We started this stream as close to 4 o'clock as I think I've ever started a stream towards my promises, so that's pretty impressive. Good start for the season. All right, so for those who don't know, or for you who are watching this later on YouTube, welcome to the first ever TBL Season 5 stream. Welcome to the first ever stream on the TBL Twitch channel. Link is in the description below, again, if you're watching this on YouTube later, since I'm talking to both the people now in chat and the people on YouTube. It's weird. I'm not the kind of person who usually does that. Anyway, so what is this stream going to be? This is not a draft stream. This is not a battling stream. This is a stream where I am going through all of the stuff that is going to happen this season. What makes the TBL different from other leagues? What makes the TBL special in its own way? And then I will be announcing, of course, all of the coaches this season, and later on in the stream, introducing all of my stream team, since I could not do this by myself. Speaking of which, there's been a lot of background work going on behind the scenes already, and I want to just address some of that before we get into the stream too deeply. So the first thing you're going to see right now is this incredible new logo the TBL has. You may notice it's different from the channel logo, and I will potentially switch that over. But this new TBL logo will be our TBL Season 5 logo, and I will be divvying it out to people. This is the first time it's being revealed anywhere, and it was created by none other than a TBL long-term veteran, CJ Beastly, who will unfortunately not be joining us for competitive play this season, but is certainly going to be helping out on the back end. He's going to be doing some analysis, and he has been helping out with a lot of the graphics, which I cannot say and stress enough how appreciative I am of that, because one thing that I am very, very bad at when it comes to streaming. Now, next up, of course, is going to be Splurge. Splurge is, as many of you probably know, a very helpful member of the Pokemon community who just kind of helps out wherever he can, very active whenever he's in a front office or just in general, very talented battler in his own right. He will also not be participating in this season since he doesn't have a Switch, but the actual graphics you see today were all made by Splurge, so really do appreciate that. All the slides and stuff from today, he threw them all together and put them in his graphical image, and it's you know, I told him that I wanted something and he made it come to life, and that it's unreal how helpful that is. So to CJ and Splurge, before we even get started with anything else, thank you guys so much for all that you've done for my stream. And to everybody who's here in chat, I am certainly going to be continuing to interact with you guys, and then I'm going to have to somehow take this video and edit it back for YouTube later. But Blaze, welcome to the stream. Everybody who's here, welcome to the stream. I did actually just get a notification from Joe that he lost power. That's pretty funny. Of course, right now. Now, there is like a squall going on outside, so if you guys hear any wind or anything, I apologize for that. There's nothing I can do about it. It's sunny right now, but earlier today it was snowing, and it's mid-May, and I didn't like that. So, anyway, Alice, Blaze, Hef, CJ, Slick, Shattered, Canadian Zudamon, Splurge, and Joe, if you get back, welcome. Welcome to the first ever stream, all of you. I really appreciate y'all being here. Like I said, if you're not following, make sure you do so, because there is going to... I don't think I ever said that, actually. But if you're not following, make sure you do so, because there is going to be tons and tons of content coming out on this channel over the next few months and in the future as well. This is going to become... I hesitate to say it because I don't like tooting my own horn, but I think it's true. This is going to become one of the greatest manpower undertakings in the Pokemon draft community to date. It's going to rival like the APA Discord in terms of just amount of people that are needed in order to actually make it function. So, was there hail? I don't know. I moved my car this morning out from in front of my apartment to a spot down the road that's not metered, and it was kind of like half raining and half snowing. It was like 9 o'clock, and I was like, oh, this is kind of miserable. And then I got back into my apartment, got upstairs, looked out the window, and it was just like blizzarding, like white out. I could barely see the apartment across the street, and I was like, geez, okay, here we are. So yeah, so it started probably around 10 o'clock this morning, and it just kind of went nuts from there. But I'm glad I moved my car in advance of that, because I would not have been wanting to walk outside in that. To be fair, I don't think they would have had anyone checking the parking meters at that time either, considering there was hail. But anyway, this stream is probably going to be somewhat long, so I'm going to make sure that we get it started and don't delay for too long. So the first thing we're going to talk about on today's stream, and again, please let me know if there's any issues with music being too loud or my voice being too quiet or anything. Like, please tell me in chat so I can correct it. Because I'm live streaming this and then pulling from a live stream back, it's going to be hard to fix something in post. So if I'm too loud or if I'm peaking the mic or if the music's too loud, just definitely tell me, because otherwise I will not know. Endless Gadgets, welcome to the stream. And I love that my chat is singing right now. I love it. All right, so this is also, I should say that this is not, I say my chat because I'm so used to my own streams, but this is actually not going to be my channel for very long. I am going to be giving this channel out to a handful of other streamers, and they are going to be helping me out with commentating battles this season as well as filling time in the middle. They're all going to jump on, as many of them as can are going to jump on later in this stream to just introduce themselves, but they are actually going to be taking over as much as they can this stream, this like TBL channel. So I'm going to be doing what I can in the back and kind of helping out as one of a stream team, not necessarily the greatest piece of the puzzle, just one more piece of the puzzle. And I really appreciate the people who are going to be helping me out with that. But before I announce that, I obviously just wanted to talk about it, and I'll get to those announcements as they come. So, Brendan, welcome to the stream as well. All right, let's jump into it. Let's not waste any more time. I am going to swap over to the other screen where we are going to talk about what makes the TBL... Aw, we have a typo. It's okay. What makes the TBL super special? The TBL, the Twitch Battle League, not to be confused with the Twitch Bat League. Unfortunate, but we tried to throw these together pretty quickly. So it's amazing what we got done. Just a heads up, it is the Twitch Battle League. The points scoring system is a new feature of the TBL this season that has never been done before in a Pokemon League, as far as I am aware. It's something that I made up sort of for Gen 8 for a couple of reasons. Obviously, as many people know, the Gen 8 Wi-Fi timer, and TBL will be played on Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi timer is awful, and everyone hates playing for 20 minutes and having battles end in timer battles, and teams built or prepped in order to finish a battle without finishing a battle, but win 4-3 or even 6-5 in 20 minutes and just calling that a day. And so this is designed specifically to counter that. There is precedent, obviously, in sports for something like this. I'm basing this off of like a FIFA style system. So if you've ever seen like the FIFA World Cup, you know that there's a group stage, and in the group stage there are 4 teams, and each team is actually not awarded points based on or not pushed forward to the next round based on their wins and losses necessarily, though that does actually come into play, but it's based on a number of points they've earned. And in FIFA, it's 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. We're going to get a little bit more specified than that in order to differentiate between different scenarios that occur during the course of the season. So the first thing is that if you can just get your win and you finish in 20 minutes and you finish within the timer, because we are going to be using the 20-minute timer this season, because it's easier to manage and just make people not have to worry about this land thing that's been causing so many problems. If you finish within the time limit, that's 4 points right there. You get your 4 points, you walk away. You're 1-0, you're 4 points. Differential, I'll talk about that in a minute. If you win, but it's because the timer stalled out, so both players, the way that's defined in this game, in this league, will be both players still have Pokemon alive after timer expires, right? So if you win 2-1 and timer expires, if you win 5-1 timer expires, you will score 2 points, not 4. So you get 4 points for one player getting down to 0 Pokemon left, or potentially both players getting down to 0 Pokemon left if you are the one counted as winning that. And you get 2 points if you win because the timer expired, not because you managed to actually finish off your opponent. If you lose, you can still score points. However, this is actually slightly a typo here. You must lose within the time limit and by a closer margin, a 3-0 margin or closer. So that's a little bit confusingly worded. We tried to condense it to be fitting on this slide. But you must lose within the time limit and by 3-0 or closer. That's how it should be worded. So if you lose 1-0 within the time limit, you score 1 point. So your opponent will still score 4, and you will score 1. if you lose even just 3-0, you still score 1 point, as long as the time did not expire before the battle ended and the game was 3-0 or closer. And if you lose any other way, meaning if you lose 4-0 or worse, or if you lose via timer or both, you score 0 points. So if the timer does not expire or does expire and you lose, even if it's a 1-1 and you are marked as the loser, you get 0 points. It's harsh. But the thing is, if you lose with the timer not expiring, right, your opponent only gets 2 points. So you only have a differential margin of -2, even though it's a 1-1, right? A 1-1, you lose, that sucks, but your opponent only scored 2 points out of that. So you actually end up with making up of 2 points. If you finish within timer, then you score 1 point. However, if it was never close, you should not be rewarded for that. That's why I want these battles, because if you're just trying to finish within the timer, because one thing people were saying was, okay, let's say I'm down like 5-2 and there's about 2 minutes left and I know I'm going to lose, but I want my 1 point. I'm just going to sack off both my mons as fast as possible so I score my 1 point. And I was like, well, that doesn't really indicate that the battle was close. So it's partially saying you have to continue to fight and make this battle close in order to earn that 1 point, to give you that difference between somebody who didn't get the battle done, in order to give that incentive to continuing to play out the battle till the end, but trying to finish the battle in time. I looked at this. I did a lot of statistical analyses about this when I first created it to try to get these points right. Since this is one of the first contributions I'm making to the Pokemon draft community in terms of my own system that I am inventing, and so I wanted to make sure I got it right. I think these points work quite well. Maybe they need to be adjusted in the future, but I actually think they work quite well. Here's the reason why. Somebody who goes 5-5 but finishes all their battles, right? And let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that they lost all their battles, that they lost really badly. They finished them all, but they lost badly. So they will have 20 points. But they've finished all their battles. If somebody goes 10-0 but didn't actually finish any of their battles, they all were timer battles, they have 20 points. So you can go 6-4, and as long as you finish those 6 battles, you will finish ahead of somebody who finished 10-0 with timer. The reason that's significant is because, as far as I'm aware, 20 points seems like a pretty fair average, 6-4, for where I want playoffs to be. 5-5, 6-4 seems like a pretty fair average of where I want playoffs to be. So you should be rewarded for going 10-0. You should make playoffs, and that is the right amount of points to make playoffs. But you shouldn't necessarily be the 1 seed, because I don't want someone who goes 10-0 because they've always won via timer to make it to playoffs as the 1 seed, to be rewarded for drafting a team that only wins with timer. So the incentive here is to draft a team that doesn't necessarily require timer to win, that draft a team that makes it possible and incentivizes you to finish within timer, within the 20 minutes. Not necessarily hyper offense. I've had many teams that are not hyper offense do well with my roster and finish within timer. I've actually only had a couple of games go to timer. But that means that once you get to playoffs, because I don't want playoff games being decided by timer, that sucks, right? So once you get to playoffs, the teams that make it to playoffs are the teams that didn't need timer as much, which means they are more likely to not need it again. Now, that was all based on a 10-week season. I have shortened the season to 8 weeks this season, so the points are a little bit skewed in that sense, but the average is still very similar to where it was before. Right, 8-0 versus 4-4 are still going to end up being the same as 5-0, 5-5 versus 10-0. Now, to lose within timer and score your 1 point means that if you went 5-5 and even one of those battles was close, then you do better than someone who went 10-0 with timer. You get 21, they have 20. That's a big. You can lose 5 matches in a 10-week season, and I'm still referencing a 20-week season because that's how this was made. But you can lose 5 matches in a 10-week season and still finish ahead of someone who finished 10-0, as long as all their wins were with timer. So the reason that I think this works is because the incentive, you lose all incentive to timer stall. You are not punished if a battle happens to go to timer, but you certainly don't have any reason to build a team that's your goal, that's your incentive. And so I spent a lot of time looking at this, trying to figure it out. And I think these are the points that work really well, and we're going to be using them this season and testing it out. And if they're completely skewed and wrong, I'm sure that the 12 coaches that are in this league this season are going to tell me that, and it's going to be corrected in the future. But I want to give this a shot, and I think given that we're doing this in a live format, having fewer battles end in timer is going to be nice. And so I'm trying to push as hard as I can to say, don't finish your battle because timer told you to finish. Finish it because you won the battle. And of course, the biggest thing here is you are not punished for winning your battle. You will still always score more points for winning than someone scores for losing. But I'm really trying to push a certain style of play. And I'm not trying to hide that. I'm not trying to be cheeky about that. And every coach is well aware of the fact that this is the way this system is going to work. Yes, is someone who goes 8-2 but wins with timer most of the time going to be frustrated when they don't make playoffs under someone who goes 4-6? Probably. But I was very open about it in the beginning. So just bear that in mind. Try to build your team, because we haven't even started the draft yet. So try to build your team knowing that you want to finish battles within 20 minutes. If you can win all your games before timer using a stall team, I vote you get the championship by default. So does anyone who's here right now in Twitch have any questions about this system or want any clarifications or anything like that? I feel like I was pretty thorough, tried to make sure that, because it's totally new, totally different, something that Pokemon hasn't seen before, so just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page with this before I move on to the next thing, because everything's going to be based on this system for the rest of the season. So I certainly want to make sure everyone is comfortable seeing this and understanding what this means. I'm not sure why Joe has to chat on Discord, but I actually do have my Discord up. So he asks, are timer stalls in the losing position to keep your opponent from 4 points considered ethical? Okay. It's an interesting question. So I don't know if everyone understood what that question means. Basically what he's saying is if I'm down like 4-1 and I want my opponent to only score 2 points, should I just intentionally stall timer so that I score 0 and they score 2, right? And the differential between those is only 2 points. I acknowledge that that is a situation that can occur and a situation that definitely is on the table. However, the situation that would come into play, the one that was presented to me right off the bat, was one in which you are ahead of your opponent in the standings by 3 points, and you want them to stay behind you. Honestly, if you are ahead of your opponent by 3 points and you are down significantly enough that you think stalling timer is your only way to keep them from catching up to you, I think you don't... It's acknowledged that that's not going to... Like, you can, and I can't stop you, but I don't think that you, as a player, are going to feel very good about that, first off. And second off, you are being live streamed. Every battle this entire season is going to be live streamed to an audience by people who are actively commentating it. If it is very obvious that that's your plan, you are going to get roasted. And if you're comfortable getting roasted on live stream in front of however many people decide to show up by live commentators who are potentially your opponents or other people in the league, I'm not going to tell you no. I'm not going to tell you that's illegal. I'm not going to tell you it's something that I will actively create some sort of action against. But you're going to have to live with the fact that the rest of the league knows you did it while you're doing it, right? Like, it's not even going to be like a week later you can put up a post-commed battle and pretend that timer just expired. It's happening live, and people are commentating the battles live. They are fully aware of the fact of what's going on and the situation that would be possibly, in this world. The other thing to think about, though, is if you're up by like 3 points on your opponent, if you can just get that to a 3-0 loss, you stay tied with them. So it's not like it ends up being a very bad thing if you can actually get that loss to be closer. There's trade-offs to all of these things. I'm not going to punish anybody for it, but I'm certainly not going to tell the casters that they can't basically oust you, with knowing what you're doing and talking about it. Probably keep it up for the whole season. Oh, it lasts longer than a season half. That lasts for the rest of time. But that's the same thing happens, like, for instance, in FIFA, right? Is it ethical for you to intentionally bring the game to a draw in like the third game of group stages, I mean, it's a strategy, right? Like, that's part of the game. But then other people are going to get really upset with you for doing that. For instance, the time that I think it was, like Germany was playing like South Korea, and I think Mexico was playing somebody else. And if Mexico and the other team drew and South Korea won, then both Mexico and the other team qualified. And South Korea ended up winning the game, and they learned that like minutes before the end of their game, and suddenly all the players just stopped trying because it didn't matter anymore. They were like, oh, we'll both tie and Germany will be out, and we're all happy that Germany's out because Germany's one of the best teams. So if we can work together to get Germany out, then we're going to do that. Think about how you feel about that right now, like that situation occurring. Think about that, and then feel like if you were in the situation to do that, would you be the kind of player who would be comfortable creating that scenario for yourself and for someone else? If you are, then by all means, I'm not going to stop you. But you have to be aware of the fact that this kind of thing gets remembered by people long terms down the road, right? This is not something that gets forgotten or brushed aside. So all that is something you got to definitely keep in mind while it's going on. Imagine timer stalling on a live stream with 20 minutes left. Oh, just imagine timer stalling for 20 minutes or more. That's just, oh my god. TBL has had some crazy things happen in the past. But even that game ended. We all talk about it as if Manbird timer stalled for half an hour, but he actually finished the game. Oh, another good question asked by Joe is, does a forfeit win count as a within timer win? So normally what happens is a forfeit win is a 3-0 win, right, in most leagues. A forfeit win will count as a within timer win. It will count as a 4-0 loss. Or technically, it'll be listed as a 3-0 loss, but since it's lose any other way, right, that includes losing by forfeit. So you still only have a differential of -3, but you will lose via forfeit, which is a different loss than a 0-3 within timer loss. So the person who wins gets 4 points. The person who loses gets 0. So it's a great question. Something I definitely should have clarified. I didn't talk about it because I try not to have, fingers crossed, we won't have any forfeits this season. But certainly a good point to make. Pure standing strategy. If you're facing someone who's not in the playoffs, it's terrible. But if you're fighting for a playoff spot and they're 3 points off passing you, why not do that to secure a spot? See, that's the kind of thing. I have no ethical problem with that strategy being employed. You put yourself in an advantageous situation to create the opportunity to make that a logical option for a late season game. And at the end of the day, it's only a 20-minute stall. Like, it's not the end of the world. But you are going to have to deal with the fact that the rest of the league is going to judge you for literally the rest of time. So we all know Manbird did that. We also talk about Manbird having done that. So it's things like that, you'll have to deal with forever. Is that one time, that one league, that one chance that you miss on playoffs worth eternity of being called out for being a timer staller? Up to you to decide. I won't decide that for anybody, any single person. The only strategy I have is PP stalling Hef. Why does Hef get stalled out so much more than anybody else? But all right, so if everyone's good on this system, on this point system, and this is the primary, I just want to reemphasize it one more time, this is the primary metric for who makes playoffs. We are not doing record first, we are doing the points first. If you do !doc, if anyone wants to, if you type !doc in the chat, you will be brought to the TBL Season 5 doc. It is live online right now. And you will be able to see the tie-breaking scenarios beyond points. Overall record actually ends up falling pretty far down the food chain there. It's not something that's going to come up as like the first or even second or third option of tiebreakers. So when you go into the doc, if you do end up going into that, you want to go into the rules tab, and then at the bottom it'll tell you the tie-breaking order. I actually do have overall record higher than I thought I did, but overall record is not the primary thing we're looking at. It is going to be points first. So bear that in mind. I actually might change that around a little bit just because I don't want overall record being that high. That was made a little while ago. So anyway, Is Nightbot not working? Nightbot. You should work. Why aren't you working? Why does it never happen? I forgot to mod it. There we go. Okay. Nightbot's here. The other thing that I didn't make a slide about this. The other thing that makes the TBL particularly special and a lot of leagues don't do, and I think is actually really fun and adds something else to the TBL that is just unique to it, is that we do not allow somebody to make all of their free agent transactions at one time. You have to do it slowly. You are allowed each week one free agent transaction where you switch one mon on your team for one mon in the free agent pool, and one trade with another team. That trade can include any number of Pokemon, and in fact can actually include any number of other teams as long as everybody ends up with the same Pokemon, same number of Pokemon they traded away, and legal teams as far as tiers and points and stuff. You are not allowed to make giant overhauls to your team all at once. Has to be slow and methodical. Also, since it's only an 8-week season, those are going to be over in week 6, and you are allowed 2 free agent exchanges and 2 trades throughout the entire season. It's limiting. I get that. It's a short season, and we're going to do another one pretty rapidly after this one, so I'm not going to say that I think people should be too stressed about that. It's going to be an interesting experience. I've done this before with this one trade, one free agent, and I think it actually works really well. I prefer it personally to teams end up dropping like 5 mons, pick up 5 mons, and you're just like, this is not the same team that this person drafted, right? I think this is a more interesting system to make it so that no team, at worst, if you don't look at the doc when it's updated and you prep for a team a week in advance, they can change very few mons. Not an unreasonable number. You know, you can make a trade that ends up trading 5 or 6 mons if you want. I can't stop you. I'm allowing that to be an option as long as it all ends up being an equal trade. But generally, people don't accept those kind of trades. You can have someone else use their free agent pickup that week and help you out if you want to trade multiple Pokemon. Like, I'll trade you these 3 Pokemon if you pick up that one and trade me those 2. You can do that kind of thing and really kind of finagle the system. But that's what you're limited to each week. And it's not mandatory. No. It's certainly not mandatory each week. It's just that is your options for the week. You are allowed to do that. That is the maximum you're allowed to do. You are not allowed to just make all your free agent transactions all at once. And historically, we've had 3 in the season, but because of the shorter season, I decided to drop it to 2. Just because I wanted teams to be kind of locked in. So yeah, you are not required to make any trades or transactions at any point the entire season. Keep that in mind. But that is the only way you're allowed to do it, is once a week. And those have to be in. Those are going to be legalized basically for the next week. So if you tell me on Tuesday that you want to make these transactions, they will be legal the following week, not the week of. And I'll talk a little bit about the streaming schedule and everything in the rest of this stream. But we're going to continue moving unless people have more questions about anything I've talked about so far. It's going to suck if you get sniped hard with so few transactions. I respect that. But the coaches have had access to this doc for multiple days, and none of them have complained yet. If they wanted to complain, they should have done it when they first saw the doc. And maybe I would have changed it. But now that we've said it in the stream, it's real forever. I say as I'm like, I might change this one thing that I didn't notice. But regardless. Okay. I don't see anybody chomping at the bit to post any questions here. So we're going to jump into the next part of the stream. And this next part of the stream is going to be a really exciting part where we introduce each coach individually and talk about the history of the TBL. So that's going to be an exciting part of the stream. So we're going to start off, and I'm just going to show you guys what this looks like. Boom! It's my league. It's my logo. So the first team in the Twitch Battle League Season 5 is going to be the New York Empoleon, coached by yours truly, GoldoaDragon. And as you guys can see, my past achievements in the TBL, I was the finalist in Season 2 and I won my division in Season 4. I also made playoffs in Season 3, and naturally, as is not written, but as you guys might have guessed, started the league up back way before. So this is what these are going to look like. Each person is going to have their own time in the sun to shine here. So starting off with myself and showing off. Next up, we have Jake. Jake in Peoria is going to be coaching the Washington National Dexers this season. He was a semi-finalist with a different team in the one of the summer leagues that we have run in the TBL. As a coach of the Peoria Braviaries, he made it all the way to semifinals, but this will be his first taste of TBL main season play. So that's going to be really exciting for Jake. Very excited to have him as a part of the league, and can't wait to see what he can do. His only TBL experience was a very high finish, and so we'll see if he can continue that as he goes into the next part of his TBL journey. Next up is another brand new coach to the main season who has also participated in the Summer League. That is going to be Eric Neon Zero, the man, the myth, the legend, coming out of retirement for this league. And he is for those who don't know the history of it, Eric is the person basically who catapulted my Pokemon draft stream career. The only reason we could have a stream like this today is thanks to this man right here. He is the one who first encouraged me to apply for the GBA D-League. He gave me a spot in the UBLN Season 3 that he was ahead of, and I'll talk about the person who got me to that later. But he then said, you would be a really interesting candidate for the TBL D-League. Why don't you fill out their application? I didn't think anything was going to come of it, but I filled it out because he told me to, and the rest is history from there. And my channel exploded, and everybody has become incredibly supportive, and I've grown so much as a result of that one thing that Eric once said to me. So I'm super excited to have him as a part of the TBL family now in the main season. He said he's going to come out of retirement for this one more league. This is going to be his last real hurrah in league format, and then he's going to focus on other parts of his life. And I wish him the best, but I'm super glad that before he finished, he is going to be joining us for the TBL main season and get a chance to really give himself a go in this incredible, exciting time of the TBL. Next up is the other person who had a really dramatic impact on my life, but we'll talk about that in a second. This is Unstable / the artist formerly known as T-Shen, who is a mainstay and incredibly successful, the most decorated TBL player of all time, with 2 championships in the last 3 seasons and a finals appearance in the other one. So he has made the past 3 finals, and he has really proven himself to be the name to beat in the TBL. And he also had retired. He had a child, and he decided he was actually going to come out of retirement. Thanks to quarantine. He's like, I'm not going anywhere or doing work or anything right now, so I have time to do this. And he decided he's going to come out of retirement and defend his title, which is super exciting. All of those were in Gen 7, so maybe in Gen 8 there'll be a difference. But you can see that he has just quite a resume going on in the TBL. And he has actually, for those who know the TBL lore, he has he has taken over a team that he did not create. So T-Shen in Season 2 and 3 was coach of the Orange City Orangaroos, and in Season 4 in the TBL Summer League was the Fantasyland Garboders, 2 teams that he created and piloted. But we once, and it is in the annals of TBL history, had a team named the Selfish Substitutes. Potentially one of the most top of the world to bottom of the heap teams ever in any league. Finished the regular season winning the division 8-2, convincing plus 20 something differential, only to face a team that finished 3-7, made playoffs by the skin of their teeth on a differential thing, and got 6-0'd. And then he left the server and never came back. So we're not going to talk about that too much, but the Selfish Substitutes have been in the TBL before, not coached by T-Shen though at the time. So Welcome back, Selfish Substitute. Tishan has taken over the logo and the name just as a, I don't know, a selfish substitute, I guess. And so there is... Oh, Dan! Dan, welcome to the stream. How's it going, dude? Oh, man. Shout-outs to you. You've never been on the other side of the camera for this stream, because this channel didn't exist before. But yeah, so this is a team that has some history here. So now it has been passed on to Tishan. And yeah, so Tishan is going to be trying to pilot this team to his third championship with a different team name, which is interesting. And so that's going to be an interesting, I guess, he's going to be he has a different Discord name, different team name, all sorts of things going on, changing in Tishan's life. That's what having a child does, isn't it? Is that Dan the man? Holy hello, Dan. All right. So, yeah, Tishan trying to break some records, take some names here. So next up, we actually have a very different story of the TBL here. Tishan changes the Discord name like once a month. That's true. That's very true. It is the Vegas Corviknights, another new question mark team to the TBL. It's coached by Brendan. Those of you who do not know, Brendan has had quite a number of battles with mental health, and honestly, the fact that Brendan is feeling good and is ready to go, I am in awe of his resiliency and his absolute willingness to find a way to make himself push through everything. I have had personal and a lot of friends with mental health battles, and they are hard. They are brutal, and I understand that. So in Season 4, Brendan had to drop out of the season, but he is back in Season 5. At the time that he dropped out, he was possibly the most exciting new coach we had that season. Everyone wanted to face him. He was literally on everyone's threat list. He was doing incredibly well, and he had to drop out, unfortunately. He managed to participate in the Summer League, and he decided he wanted to come back to the TBL. Was super excited when I invited him over. So I'm really glad to have him back. I think he's personally the coach to watch out for this season as far as coaches who have never participated in a TBL playoffs or anything. He is certainly one that we are all keeping an eye on because he played out of his mind when he was playing that first season. The only way that Tishan was able to beat him was just the craziest hacks. He did get a little frustrated from some of the hacks that happened. TBL Season 4 was possibly the hacksiest season of the TBL that I've ever seen. For anyone who remembers my battle against Alex, that was just insane. Tishan and Brendan's battle was hilarious. So, oh, Nightbot, calm down, dude. Relax. I'm gonna make Nightbot chill. I'm gonna make Nightbot chill a little bit. But Brendan, really, I'm excited. Honestly, excited to have Brendan back. Let's see. Disable. Okay. We're gonna disable those for now, and if it becomes a problem, we'll fix it. We'll put it back on. Sorry about that, Joe. Sorry, Brendan. That's hilarious. Sorry about that, Brendan. Didn't mean to ban you or time you out while we were talking about you and giving you all sorts of praise and stuff. But Tishan, I almost rarely win by hacks. Keep that in mind when he says that now. We'll see what happens this season. But yeah, no. Brendan in Season 4 came as the Trenton Thunderous, but is back as the Vegas Corviknights here in Gen 8 and is going to really push to complete his first season of the TBL, and I'm super excited. Just wanted to, I think that the fact that it timed you out for that and deleted the message is exactly how you wanted what you wanted to say about Palatine. We'll all envision what you said there. We'll all picture it in our mind's eye. I'm sure we all know exactly the words that were said, and they were friendly words, of course. Next up is a truly new coach to the TBL, actually having never participated in any TBL event in the history of the TBL. It is Slick Panther coming in the Tip Town Timbers, representing Europe in this season of the TBL, since we actually do not have very many people coming from across the pond. Most of our competitors this season will be in the US, which is nice for timing, but we are going to be invited. I mean, I don't do that on purpose. I have no problem with people coming from across the pond. It's just hard to schedule, obviously, and people knew that these were going to be live stream battles, which means you had to be doing it on schedules that were willing to be with other people's, work within other people's schedules, and so I understand that it is tough. Oh my gosh, wow, speaking. It is tough to get somebody coming from across the pond, but shout out to Slick Panther, who actually really impressed me this preseason, and is I am super excited to welcome into the TBL family and the TBL main season for his first ever type of TBL challenge. Most of the coaches here you'll see have participated in something TBL related. Not all, though. We actually have quite a few new coaches this season, so I'm actually very excited for that. This is going to be a pretty new roster, fresh for Gen 8, super exciting. So really glad to welcome Slick Panther into the TBL family here. And next up is another brand new coach, brand new to the TBL family, but if you know anything about Twitter and the Pokemon Draft League community, you know he has the best Draft League Twitter. Go follow this man. It is the best Twitter I've ever seen in my entire life. Shay Quaza is coming to the TBL in a real twist of fate. I brought him in because we were actually playing in the PBAL. I don't think we actually played. We were just talking about it. And I was like, hey, man, you don't seem to hate the 20-minute timer since you're playing in leagues that have it. Would you be interested in trying out for a league that has a 20-minute timer? And he was like, sure. I have no problem with the 20-minute timer. So we are welcoming Shay Quaza into the TBL family sort of on a whim and out of left field. So I never would have expected Shay to join this league. I think Shay has... The thing is, the TBL has always sort of been a smaller league because it's not upload required. And in Gen 7, the big leagues, they all were. But I wanted to get anybody who had an opportunity to play, anybody who had the devices to play, an opportunity to play. And most YouTubers who have an established base don't join a league that is not upload required because they expect that the players are going to be inconsistent, unreliable, and it's not necessarily untrue that that's the case in a lot of leagues. The TBL actually has a very different history than that and has been very consistent, very reliable all throughout. But it's always exciting to see somebody who I know of as a Pokemon like YouTuber with an established following and base to come over to the TBL because it's not easy to get someone to do that, to join a league that they think might be a little bit less consistent than they're used to. Let's just phrase it that way. So really appreciate Shay's willingness to jump in and be a part of this, and I'm actually super pumped to have Shay as a part of the TBL this season. And he will be joining us for the first time. He has never been in the TBL server before this season or anything like that. So he's brand new, fresh. We can all make sure that he feels so welcome in the TBL Discord. And next up, we have... Hold on, let me see. Did the music stop? No, we're good. Music's good. Next up, we have another new competitor in the TBL, another person who has not participated in anything in the past in the TBL, and that is Shattered, my homie that lives like down the road, supposedly, though I'm not actually sure where exactly down the road, but somewhere down the road. Shattered is joining the TBL for the very first time with the Snow Point Glaceons. Shattered, I mean, he shattered records in the preseason for creativity of sets. His sets were so heat that I literally had to turn my air conditioner on in the middle of April because I couldn't handle them. This man came in and just said, I don't even care. Here we go. And actually, his teams were winning too. It's not like they were all losing and being super creative. His sets were just so flames, I had to invite him into the main season to see what he could do. There was no doubt in my mind that he was going to make this. So, honestly, this was such a zany play style, and I'm so glad that he decided he wanted to join the TBL this season. I honestly can't say enough how excited I am to have Shattered as a part of the family. Yo, Shay's here. Welcome to the stream, Shay. Have you been here the whole time? I don't even remember. But welcome to the stream. And yo, this is such a good roster for the TBL, guys. I can't even tell y'all how excited I am to have all of you here. Now, of course, these are some new coaches, and we've had a couple run a little right now of some coaches who have had their fresh faces, fresh meat in the TBL this season, but we are going to have somebody who will show them the ropes here as this next player who has qualified for the TBL this season on the back of a good performance in Season 4. And how good performance in Season 4 do you say? Well, he was a semifinalist in Season 4 and a champion in Season 3. And that is Playmaker, who came into the TBL in Season 3 and immediately won a championship right off the bat. Started the season 5-0, didn't take any prisoners. He had never done Draft League before. He just walked in, won a season. Like it was no joke. Or like it was a joke, I guess. It was no joke to him. It felt like a joke. Anyway, that phrasing is really confusing. Playmaker is a old hat in the TBL at this point. As you guys know, if you make semifinals the season before, you get an automatic invite back to the following season, and Playmaker has earned that twice in a row. He participated in the preseason and before Season 3, qualified from that, really impressed me there, won the championship, and then hasn't had to play in one since because he has been automatically qualified to get back in. And so we're excited to have him back. Obviously, having high-end talent will show some of these new coaches what's what. If they can beat Playmaker and Tishen and myself and other players who have made playoffs consistently, they deserve to be not only here, but going really deep into the playoffs. So I'm actually super excited. Only dude that's stopping you from going back-to-back. That's true. The only players who have ever won a championship in the TBL main season are Playmaker and Tishen. So we'll see what happens in Season 5. Someone else can get into their little back-to-back, or if Playmaker will defend his every other kind of thing that's going on right now. Since Season 1, as you guys haven't seen any records about it, didn't end up finishing. However, that doesn't mean that there are nobody here who remembers Season 1. As a participant in it myself, I can't even say I am the only person who was here in Season 1. So, too, was the only person in this entire planet who has participated in every single offered season of the TBL I could create. He has been there. He has been the rock on the back. He was there in Season 1, 2, 3, 4, Summer League 1, Summer League 2. He has been everywhere in the TBL. And actually, by popular demand, was demanded to come back for Season 5. Didn't end up having to play in the preseason because every season I do a vote where players vote in 2 players they think deserve to get the spot back automatically, and Nick consistently gets that spot. Players love facing him. Players love him being there, and he has been such a mainstay of the TBL. I mean, this is, as much as it's my league, honestly, Nick has participated in more TBL seasons than I have. And I don't know, it's just so nice to have somebody who remembers such an old time of my stream and such an old time of my experiences to stick around and still be here through all of the ups and the downs that I've gone through, and just, be such a good friend and such a good person on the other side of that. So I will give Nick a spot every single time he wants it. It's just such a reward to have him continue to be a part of the TBL family. We've got a bunch of new faces and only 2 players still here who participated in Season 1, and those are Nick and I can't say enough how exciting it is to have Nick continue on. That doesn't mean that Nick and I are the only people in the server. If you ask around, there's actually a number of people who were in TBL Season 1 who are still sticking around the server and have participated as recently as Season 4, but for Season 5, it's only Nick and I who are going to be participating. And he will be coaching his mainstay, his team. This is his team, the Missouri Magnazones. He has had this team for a long time, and they have been a very, very well-known team in the TBL, obviously just because they've always been there. And it's just exciting. I'm just so glad to have Nick continuing to participate in the TBL season after season. Now, we are down to the home stretch. There's only a couple of coaches left after Nick, and one of those coaches is one of my good friends from home. One person I've known, actually the person I've known the longest, the only person on this entire league who knew me before I started streaming, and not the only person in the chat, apparently, because Dan was here for a minute, so shout out to Dan. And that is going to be Joe, and he is coaching the Boston Red Rocks. Love the logo, love the name. And he has participated in the TBL Summer League, but he has actually never participated in a TBL Main League before, so this will be his first time doing that. He did just participate in the TBL Zany Metas as well, the Zany Metas season, but he earned his spot right through the preseason like everybody else. Just because I knew him beforehand does not mean that I gave him any preferential treatment. And so he has earned his spot, and I'm super excited to see what he can do this season. And he is going to be joining us for the first time in the main league season of the TBL. He and I don't think I've ever actually faced in a draft battle. He's mocked with me many, many times. In fact, in TBL Season 2, the season that I ended up being the runner-up to Tishen, Joe was my entire front office by himself. It was just the 2 of us building together. So shout-outs to Joe for that and everything that he's done since then, continuing to make this season and everything every season better. Now, one thing I do want to talk about Joe before I just jump on, and this is not related to the TBL in any way, but Joe has actually been 3D printing ear saver protectors for medical professionals that keep the masks that are elastic around the back of their ear off of their ears, and that is a super cool thing that he is using the resources he has to help out in this time of crisis. And I really do personally think that that's an amazing endeavor, and the creativity that people are showing in terms of what they're coming up with and doing to help out in this time of crisis is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Pokemon Draft League community doesn't seem overly affected by this because of the fact that we didn't see each other in person anyway to begin with, but we are all coming together as a community and trying to make things better, and I just want to give a shout out to Joe where that's due, because I think this is an amazing undertaking and something that I really do appreciate that he's doing for the community around that. So this is the penultimate person on the TBL roster this season, and of course the last person, and certainly not the least person, is going to be the other very long-term participant, and that is the St. Louis Charizards, coached by Hef Nasty E, and that is going to be oh my god, Hef has been here since he replaced Noctali in Season 2 halfway through the season and ended up coming back to win the division. Then in Season 3, won the division again. In Season 4, had one of the most ultimate meltdowns of all time. And it was, Hef's career in the TBL has been a topsy-turvy one, but he has made semifinals in Season 3 as well. It's not listed because winning the division was pretty impressive, but he ended up making semifinals that season as well. I believe he made semifinals as well in Season 2, if I'm not mistaken. So, do you want to ask? Well, I'll let Hef tell that story if he wants to about what happened in Season 4. Honestly, nobody's quite sure. Hef was basically put into one of the toughest divisions that could have possibly existed. And Season 4, we changed the way the divisions worked to try to mix up how players got to the playoffs, and it ended up being a very poor... Hef just got screwed by RNG. So Hef, who has certainly come a long way, was brought back by popular vote as well as Nick for this season, so did not have to participate in the preseason, as well as he is the only person, I looked it up, who was participating in TBL Season 5 who did both of the two summer leagues, weirdly enough. That is a very odd statistic. Surprised me a lot when I noticed it, but he has participated in both summer leagues, and he is the last coach of TBL Season 5. Now, this stream is far from over. There is a lot of content yet to come your way, but I am going to take a small break since my throat is saying, hey man, you haven't streamed like this and talked this long in so long. I've been talking for literally an hour straight, and literally no breaks, no pauses, just straight talking for an hour. So I'm going to take a small break, and when I come back, we're going to introduce the streamers. We're going to get them on the call so that I'm not going to have to be talking quite as long. We're going to talk about the draft order. We're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff coming down the pipeline and what's going to happen this week and future weeks in terms of scheduling and how that's going to go. So don't go away. We are coming right back, but we are definitely going to take a small break so I don't end up damaging my throat. So hopefully you guys are having a good time. If there's anything you see that you would appreciate me doing differently, then please tell me. I'm certainly open to it. But as it stands, I will be right back, and I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, so we're gonna jump back into it now. Got some water, took a small break, just let my throat rest for a minute. I have seen too many streamers have to take longer term breaks, and I mean longer term is in like a month off because they've got like throat issues. I just don't want to deal with that. So we're gonna take it slow, take it safe, build back the stamina that I used to have for streaming, and go from there. So, what is the next part of this stream gonna look like? Well, that's a good thing you asked. Oh, great stream viewer, you. The next part of this stream is going to be the part where I actually allow the other TBL streamers to jump into call with me and say hello to you all, the people, since they are going to be the voices that you hear all season. And so if they are ready to come in, they can come in, and I will just introduce them one by one, and then they can talk to you guys themselves.
I think I picked the right time to jump back in then.
Look at that. Perfect timing. So we're just going to go through them one by one, and then each of them will introduce themselves if they are around. So the first person that I'm going to say, first person I'm going to mention is going to be Shattered. Shattered is, as you all know, one of the coaches this season, and also it conveniently lives in the same time zone as me, which is nice because it means that scheduling is not that difficult. And I am going to show you guys all of their links as well that they gave me to show you guys, so that you guys can get a sense of who they are. Go follow them because most of them stream themselves and are good people that I am excited to have on with me and are excited to watch. So definitely go check them out. But would you like to say hello to the people? No? He's here. Okay, I'm actually going to turn the music off because I think you might be the same volume as the music because that's how streaming works. So sorry. Go ahead.
I'm Shattered. Call me Liam whenever you want, and I'm actually really happy to be a part of this season.
Oh yeah, I forgot your name was actually Liam, even though it's like everywhere. That's totally like published information.
I don't particularly. Yeah, hide stuff in it? What are the words? I'll turn up my mic volume if that's a problem.
That seems better on my end, yeah.
All right.
Why don't you do your intro again?
I'm Shattered. Call me Liam, whatever you want, and I'm looking forward to being a part of this. This will be a fun project to be a part of, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting some wins along the way.
Yeah, so the big thing here that I sort of mentioned before, but just going to reiterate here, is that we will not be commentating our own battles. We will be commentating other people's battles, and other people will be commentating our own battles. That's going to be a bit of a nightmare to organize, but hopefully everybody's pretty flexible about it, and we're going to make it work. The next person on the list, yeah, it's going to be an exciting experience. The next person on the list is going to be Playmaker. Playmaker is not going to be joining us right now, as far as I'm aware, for the call, but you all know Playmaker. He's been a part of the TBL family for a long time, so just excited to have him back. The next person is going to be Alice the Ferrothorn. And Alice the Ferrothorn, first person who gave us the YouTube channel. Sorry that link's impossible. If you're watching this on YouTube, that link is in the description below. If you're watching this on Twitch, that's an impossible link to type in, and I just apologize for that. So, what's up?
My own URL.
We're getting there. So if enough of you go and subscribe to Alice, then we can make sure that the channel URL becomes easier for the next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta make it easier to lay out next time around.
So I do have my own Twitch URL, which is good.
There you go.
So, hi, I'm Alice. I'm a transgender. So yeah, I'm in Europe, so I'll probably be doing a lot of European streams, but I will also be doing probably a few of the American ones as well. I mean, what you said, there's not many European battlers at the moment, Gold?
No, this season there ended up being just very few. I think just one, actually.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of competitive battling experience dating back, probably about Black and White, I think it was, when I started. So I'll be able to do quite a bit of commentary. I do a lot of commentary on my own battle streams as it is anyway. So it's not something that I'm a stranger to. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys in the streams.
Yeah, and I actually stopped by Alice's stream the other day and had some of the funnest battles I've had in a long time. So if you guys want any just of your own battles off stream or off league or anything, absolutely go to Alice's stream because that was just a blast, honestly.
Yeah, my teams are built for fun when I'm streaming, but if you ever want to like a actual decent battle, just feel free to challenge me off stream.
And I
All
believe
my
you said
stream teams are built for casuals and competitive players.
I believe you said you do VGC as well, so you'll do singles or doubles.
Yeah, I have a history of VGC. My battling history for competitive has been primarily VGC, as well as a few 1v1 battles. And in my battling history for competitive, I have never failed to reach a top 8. So
wow,
a lot.
That's
I decided to go higher and just teach the new people.
That's a record.
My very first VGC, I actually came back from being like in the I think it was either 20 or 30s, and came up to get to 7th place.
Wow. Okay, so we've got some real skill in this the streamers. Liam, you didn't actually mention.
I'm in the VGC department, even if that is what I primarily play.
Yeah, you want to talk about your history a little bit, Liam, too?
I'll be honest, I haven't really done much draft league recently. Mostly stuck to the CIL. Actually played against Jake a couple times. That's where me and him got most of our battling history.
Nice.
My draft league history is actually literally only helping people build draft league teams. So I've never actually competed in one.
But the other league that I'm in right now, I'm probably going to be getting into playoffs and hoping to go from there. So I'm hoping I can carry that momentum into here. I don't know how that works. Let's find out.
Good luck.
But
so the next up we have Brendan. Brendan, aka Darkest Devil 26, is someone I've actually done streams with before and really had a good time with. He, as I mentioned during his actual coach description, is somebody who's been a part of the TBL family for a long time and has had a topsy-turvy past couple of years. So we're really excited to have him as a part of the stream team, to keep him actively part of the community and keep you guys in the loop of what's going on, because I personally think Brendan's life is fascinating, as much as Brendan might not want to admit that. And he is following my 5-step plan to get the ladies. So if you want to say hello to the people.
Hello everyone. I am Dark Devil 26, aka Brendan. And I've been doing draft leagues now for God knows how long, and I've been in I don't know how many leagues now, too many to name. And I've been a part of the TBL now for a while. I've been involved in it in some capacity now for a bit. Like, I know I had to leave season 4. I did a summer league one time, which was really fun. I'm looking forward to coming back, and I'm looking forward to joining this project that is going to require a lot of work, but I'm definitely up for it. So I do draft league content regularly on my YouTube, and I actually am starting to integrate it over to my Twitch as well. I do stream some other stuff, like other games entirely as well, outside of Pokemon. So I don't know if you're interested, just pop by, say hi. I don't know. Yeah, just do all that good stuff, because it makes me feel validated about myself. It boosts my ego more than it boosts my ego.
I think that's the same for all of us streamers.
Yeah, that does that.
It makes me feel, it boosts my self-esteem.
So if you guys can't tell, I think we've got a pretty good group of people coming together for this. The one person who is also here that doesn't have any like online presence per se is Joe, who is a good friend of mine, and I know him because of that. Joe has actually been. You guys have heard his voice if you are TBL mainstays, since Joe helped me in the season 2, maybe even I think seasons 1, 2, and 3 draft streams. Joe was my co-commentator for. So he has definitely been around the scene. And if he wants to jump in call, he's welcome to, although he did say he lost power. He's on his generator, so I understand if he doesn't have the ability to do that right now. It's unfortunate that just happened right now. But he doesn't have an online presence as much, but he is going to be a very important and helpful member of the stream team that we've got going on here. So if you want, Joe, if you have the opportunity. What's up?
Joe is here. He's in the stream chat by looks things.
Yeah, he's in stream chat, but I just don't know if he can jump into the call because of the the generator probably doesn't want to deal with it.
Talk about the worst of both worlds. Man can't go outside because of this virus. Man doesn't want to stay inside because his power's out and he has on his generator. Like,
yeah.
I
So
do have a question for you though, Gold, about the streaming. Are we going to be streaming 2 at a time or 1 at a time? How are you planning on doing that?
I'm
Flavor and Ice two
hoping
at a time, right?
I'm hoping to have pairs. Yeah. So 2 people will be streaming. It will not always be me and somebody. This channel will be the stream key and everything will be handed out to other people. I have to trust people. It's tough. But I think I've got a good group of people and I do trust you all. But the streams will be conducted by 2 people if at all possible. I will prefer not to let one person do it for a long time for themselves for the same reasons that I mentioned before and the reason I took a small break before this. We are humans. Humans have capacities for like their own like abilities, and I don't want anyone getting anywhere near that on streams like this. I don't know how long streams are going to be. This is the first time anything like this is being done in the Draft League community. So one thing I do know, for instance, in competitive like VGC tournaments, casters are not allowed to cast for longer than an hour. And I know that these streams may go on for more than an hour, so I never want someone to do it alone.
It's the same in Smogon. They don't allow casters to go on for more than like an hour to an hour and a half at a push.
Yeah, and I think that's well, we will have streams longer than that, and people here are accustomed to doing streams longer than that. So I hope that everyone's going to be okay with it. We are going to make sure that there's multiple people and people ready to go. And if you need the day off, we're going to make sure we work with it. So we're never going to put you all in by yourself for a long period of time.
You guys can all treat that as an incentive to get it done before timer as well.
Help us.
Yes.
Help us not blow our voices
out.
out.
The more that get done before the timer, the less we have to stream for like an hour or 2.
We value our sanity as much as you value our wins.
So.
Oh yeah, Gold. After the stream, I do have something a theory which I had wanted to run past you for when we're streaming as well.
Sure. Yeah, by all means. Joe is the originator of the well, that's nothing to sneasel at. That is true. For anyone who knows the history of the TBL and has been a part of it for a long time, you've heard that come out of my mouth a lot. Joe is the first one who said it during the TBL Season 1 draft stream. So I've
actually made it outside of the TBLs as well. I started hearing that around non-battling streams about a year ago.
Oh, well, this happened long before a year ago. This was 2016, 2017, like late 2016, maybe early 2017, one of the two. So
yeah, so that's actually made it outside of TBL.
Joe is putting his mark on like battling. Yeah, it's either late 2016 or early 2017. I can't remember exactly when it was. I think it was late 2016 was that draft stream. I'm not swearing to that though. But anyway, before you all go, I just want to do one more thing with everybody who's here and talk about, because some of you are in the season, some of you are not. But I want to talk about the reveal of the draft order of the teams this season. So as I am going to jump into it, I want you guys to be able to feel free to complain about your spot, to talk about what you think is going to go first or where you think things are going to drop, and how you feel about this. Now, this is going to be a post-home but Wi-Fi league, so pre-DLC league. The DLC will not be legalized during the course of the season. That'll start up next season, which will start up probably in September. So after the 2 DLCs are both released, that'll all join in for Season 6. If the hidden ability starters get released at any point in there, they will also be joining in Season 6. So everything is as it looks right now. Everyone can find the tiers on the doc, ! Doc. It works now, so I can say that. And so we are, I'll jump right into that draft order. And so we are just going to go through it quickly. The first pick is Joe. It's unfortunate that he can't be on call right now because he has that first pick. And I'm actually going to open the draft anytime starting as soon as we are done talking about this right now. The draft will start. So first person is Joe. Second pick is Eric Neon Zero. Third pick is Hef Nasty. Fourth pick is Nick. Fifth is Shay Quaza. Sixth is Slick Panther. Seventh is Unstable, the artist formerly known as Tishen. Eighth is Brendan. Ninth is Playmaker. 10th is myself, GoldoaDragon. 11th is Jake in Peoria. And 12th is Shattered. So does anyone have anything they want to say about 12-person format, about their own spots, since we do have 2 commentators here or actually 3 commentators here who have very low draft picks. Unfortunately, we don't have our head of the draft, Joe, to be on for the call, but...
Sadly, I'm not even in the draft.
So you can give us some unbiased perspective.
There's nothing wrong with a back wheel pick.
I get your struggle, Gold. Like that generation, you were like, I understand the struggle now. Like I get it. Like it's frustrating.
To anyone who doesn't know what Brendan's referring to, he's actually talking about the entirety of Season 7. In my first 14 draft leagues I ever did, I never once had a pick above 8th. 2 of those leagues were 8-man drafts, and I was last. So until APA Evolution Season 1, in which I was the first pick out of nowhere, I never had a single pick above 8th. This Gen 8, I've actually had pretty good pick luck. This is the lowest I've ever been, but it was unreal. And people would be like, it's impossible that happens again. And then like the next league I'd go into, I'd be like, all right, 13th pick, let's go. Like I never got to use any of the super broken mons for so long in Gen 7. I never got to, get a team that was like first pick kind of team. It was always like a low middle of the pack team. I got like last in PRs in like every league I ever did because my teams were always like cobbled together. So it's been there.
You gotta love being last in PRs though, because that means when you start winning, you could just prove everybody wrong and be like, "Oh yeah, like you were totally wrong."
There's nothing wrong with an opportunity to say "I told you so."
Dude,
No,
that's
I
my.
love
very
that.
few people you will ever meet that uses a doubles support Bruxish. So I can tell you right now, even the bottom of the barrel picks can still make an effort.
Hey, if anyone wants to talk about bottom of the barrel picks, watch that video that just came out on TTM with Jolt and I, because that's a hell of a battle. But anyway, that's a plug that didn't need to be made right now. So Joe,
Racing. It's a Rose Raid and doesn't get more bottom of the barrel than that.
so Joe has the first pick, and unfortunately he can't speak for himself. But why don't we have Alice, who has not going to be participating in the league this season, talk about what Pokemon do you think is going to go first?
Let me just put up the list. Is there a list on like the Discord server that I can look at?
I don't know if you have. I don't know if I gave you actual visual access to it, but I'll put it in the chat.
I can DM it to you if you
Yeah, if you
want.
send it over to me, I'll have a look. I'll have a look over it now and
It's there.
take a query.
You're
Where is
good.
it? Sorry, in the Steam team. All right, okay.
Wait, Joe says he's going to jump on, but it might cut out. Hold on. Well, Alice, you can still talk about it, but Joe might jump on in a second. So
Yeah, I'm just putting it up now.
Joe makes his pick live on stream because he just can.
I mean, honestly, I've done live drafts before, so
Impromptu live draft. Like, we didn't plan this whatsoever, but it just kind of happened.
dude, if we get the whole draft done during this stream today, I'm walking away a happy man.
I mean, it's less work for you, isn't it?
Oh my god, I don't have to have any editing done or ready to go because like I wasn't prepared for it at all. It was just
No,
impromptu.
I
Like,
mean,
We could just be
I've
us going through this
opened up
draft.
the link, but I'm not seeing the Pokemon list.
it should be under tiers.
I'm only seeing the causes.
Yeah, the tier list. Just tier should be the first tab on
Yeah.
it, assuming you're on desktop. I haven't pulled up right now. Honestly,
Yeah, I'm on the.
honestly, low key, I think we're gonna see a lot of early pick psychics because there's a lot of good tier 1 psychics.
See if I can order. No, I'm not even. I see it now. I see it at the bottom, very bottom. So looking at tier 1, I'm seeing Celebi is a very strong defensive healer presence that can actually also dish out damage. But I think honestly, Corsola is my pick for probably pick 1, followed closely by Dragapult. And I don't think then it goes over to Celebi and Clefable for joint third.
I think
Those are my
because of the
guesses.
point system, I think Corsola is going to get slammed. I don't think it's going to be as valuable because of the fact that it doesn't die, but then you also don't score the points if you can't kill your opponent, right? And it doesn't really do anything offensively.
I mean, it does do offensive. I mean, I've actually.
I mean, we do have a Nightshade
within the timer. I've swept an entire team within the timer using Corsa.
Gross.
Before.
Nightshade is an option.
Yeah, Nightshade is an option combined with the burn damage.
That's true.
Incidental burn damage with Nightshade and the ability to heal through Strength Sap. I don't think we're going to see many changes to the Corsola move pool, really. The only slot that's probably going to change is maybe the Stealth Rock set slot. I mean, that can change between multiple different things, such as Toxic. You're always going to want to have Will-O-Wisp for the decrease in attack, but you might change, like,
You might want toxic if you're in like a stall or lose situation. And plus,
if you're in a stall team,
Joe, all you have to do to jump on is
the same
just.
person gets
You should
and
see in the
Celebi
Discord.
somehow.
Sorry, I was just telling Joe
Yeah.
how to jump on. You should see in the Discord a chat that we're all on.
If the same person gets, like, say, Corsola and Celebi by some miracle, and they end up in a stall team, you won't necessarily need Will-O-Wisp because of Celebi. So you have, and also with the Strem stat, Corsola I've seen actually win despite having its Eviolite knocked off. It can still win.
Corsola's gross.
We don't even have. Is knockoff even in this game? I don't remember. I haven't played it.
Knockoff is knockoff is definitely in the game. And this is also post home, so everything that had knockoff before got it back. So Joe,
I don't even remember half of what's removed and what's not. I need to go down that list again.
ban knockoff.
Ban knockoff.
If I ever remove knockoff, it is going to drastically warp the presence of items.
Listen, I was upset when I didn't get to help make a decision on Galarian Darmana's hand, but that's okay.
I'm just looking over the tier list, and I'm realizing you can actually draft a pretty good defensive team that can win within the timer.
Gross.
And that's including only one from tier 1.
Even more gross.
All right, Joe.
I'm looking over this with a range of different typings as well.
Some sort of good Recorsally team or something?
Well, you got Corsola Galarian in tier 1. Then you go over to tier 2, and you've got Alolan Ninetales as your setter for
All right, I'm
Aurora
taking
Veil.
notes.
That also has a very fast online presence.
You're just checking out the options.
All right, Joe.
I'm
Let's
checking out options. I'm not even in this draft.
hear what you're thinking of as your first pick, Joe, from the person who's actually got to deal with the problem of it.
Yeah.
I've been literally racking my brain for about 3 or 4 days, probably 3 days, when I really started thinking about it. And the first thing that popped in my mind was Jirachi. I've seen so much good stuff done with it. Serene Grace is just uncanny. You can't knock a Paraflinch. And then I went on to the natural movement of, okay, what's new, what's fun and exciting, because who likes doing things that are tried and true? That's weird. Not me, of course. But so I was looking at Corviknight, I was looking at Vish and Dragapult, and just because they happen to be all in a row on the but they all serve very different purposes, and they're all just broken in their own regard. And as I kept talking and as I kept making lists, I heavily considered Mew because it truly fits my play style of just being literally everything, but at the same time, as someone who is often indecisive in Pokemon, it also doesn't fit my play style because it's literally everything. So I had to balance that out. What I ended up settling on after long discussion was Zeraora, because it's fast, it has tons of type coverage, and it's just a beast. I like it. It's fun. I've never used one either competitive or recreationally. Not that I've done a whole lot of competitive, but I don't even have one in either of the games it's available in, because I just forgot to put the code in when I had it. But I've never, regardless, I've never used one. And I, even on Showdown, I've never used one. I've battled them, but I've never used them myself. And I was like, that's the only Pokemon on this list where I can say, yeah, I've never really used it at all.
I definitely never used it in Gen 7, but in Gen 8, I actually drafted it in another league literally 2 weeks ago, I think. The first battle is tomorrow, and already just prepping with it, it seems so good. It seems stupid.
It's a very strong epic.
I'm like, okay, I just need to outspeed like Scarf Dracovish. Oh, it does that. Like no item, just like it does.
No item, just does. Yep. I couldn't
Yeah.
knock that speed with base 120 attack and prey rough coverage for dragons and
It's got grass knot. It's for
grass
the
knot,
grounds.
blaze kick. You know, there was close combat. Not I think it gets knockoff too. Bolt
Yep.
Blade.
Iron Tail if you want to go.
Just out of curiosity, is it actually allowed to draft a team without taking anything from tier 1?
No, you are required to take
No.
at least one mon from
We
tier
are
1.
required to take 1 from each tier, you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we're
2 from
not-
tier 3.
We're not doing any low tier pick shenanigans. Like I don't think I can pick a tier 2 with a tier 1 pick.
Oh yeah, let me just
No, we're
draft
not.
Shedinja real quick. That's my first pick.
I'm just looking over the other tiers, the non-tier 1 tiers, and I'm seeing lots of good potential teams just from the non-tier, just without any tier 1 Pokemon.
So
The only issue with this gen is that the speed tiers are a little weird.
They're
Yeah,
wonky
they're
as
either
hell.
really fast or really slow. I've noticed that as well. I've actually made a few comments to other people about it. It seems like they've really pushed faster Pokemon, but at the same time, if they're slower, they have such good defenses that it kind of makes up for the fact that they can't outspeed bugger all.
they've like kind of optimized where it used to be like you get 80 special attack and 100 attack, and they're like you could choose whichever one you want. Flygon.
Like I
But
think
now they're like
Remember,
you get 40
remember
special attack
it's
and
actually
120.
The fastest thing in this draft outside of the Selgor. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's only rivaled by like Ninjask or something.
Ninjask is
Well, I was actually
not.
looking on
faster.
Survey at the speed tiers for how this generation has changed the speed tiers. The closest that a Gen 8 Pokemon has come, I think, is 10. Is 10 from on the speed tier list.
Well, Pulse is 142, and
Zeraora is
Zeraora is
143,
143, which is amazing. I mean, the fact that it outspeeds Pulp by 1 point is also a really big point for it.
Especially
But-
since it can kill. It has options for that. It has brutal swing, which is a
It has
brutal
knockoff.
Swing,
Might as well just run knockoff.
Zeraora,
Then it can't be
knockoff.
scarfed. You know, like Play Rough probably Oko's it. Pult has like no defense either, so it's I think a very worthy first pick. I think Pult's a very worthy first pick. I think Mew that you were debating between is also a very worthy first pick.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options here. I think this
sorry.
this league's going to be
Zacian
really
is
fun this
actually-
season.
Zacian and Dragapult actually break the top 5. Zacian is only outsped by Ninjask, and Dragapult is outsped by Zeraora, Selgor, Zacian, and Ninjask. You got Dragapult on the 5th slot,
And I don't think Zacian's in this draft, thank God.
so it means that the fastest
we
on this draft
we
is
banned
Dragapult.
Melmetal. We were never going to allow Zacian or Zacian to be in this
Yeah,
draft.
That is very understandable.
If Melmetal was there, I probably would have picked it. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
I'm
it's really
actually
good.
looking at
There's a
the
reason it got
tier
banned.
2, and I think I've actually worked out what the most likely first pick is going to be for tier 2, and that is surprisingly not Guja. I'd say Grimmsnarl.
I think that's not unreasonable. I think Grimmsnarl could actually be a
think that's
round 1
completely
pick.
reasonable.
Grimmsnarl has a very wide range of uses. It can be used special, offense, physical, and just defensively.
Oh yeah,
It's-
absolutely. Prankster's amazing.
And it can cover a support role too, right?
It not only has Prankster, but it also avoids other
things.
things with Prankster too because it's Dark type. So
Yeah. It
like-
avoids opposing pranksters. It's got access to prankster taunt, as well as having access to prankster, nasty block, and bulk up, giving it all 3 ranges of setup priorities, as well as being able to priority setup screens.
oh yeah, no,
It
it's
covers so many different roles on a team.
it's a good mon, and it's certainly worth a round 1 consideration. If not,
Yeah,
then you know. Well, okay, let's look at it this way.
I'm going to put it at tier 1.
Let's do this. We've got somebody on the other side. So Joe's our first overall pick, and he's looking at some power. But what do you think on the other side, Liam? Because you are the 12th pick out of 12, is going to come to you for the wheel.
I'm obviously not going to say anything because there's 11 people ahead of me. But I do have a couple different plans in mind that I'll probably cover anything that could get sniped between them. But
Well,
at
so-
the same time, it really all depends on what gets picked and what doesn't.
So I guess I'll ask this question more
I decided to
directly
leave
then,
my
so it's not.
options open a little bit, but that back wheel is a huge option for me to set up a solid core right off the bat, and I think I'm going to abuse it.
Oh, I absolutely agree. But I'll ask this question more directly. Do you think Grimmsnarl lasts to you, or do you think it gets taken before you? I mean, it's not whether you want to take it. Just do you think it lasts that long? Do you think it's taken round 1?
I honestly don't think it will. It's such a good value tier 2 pick. Someone's gonna take it before it's gone, I feel like.
Yeah, I think, again, I'm 10th. I don't have a plan made. Let's be honest. I don't do that kind of thing sometimes. And so
as it goes isn't ever a bad thing, is it?
It can be a very bad thing. Confirmed. I've done that and it's gone very poorly for me. But I will probably make some sort of plan at some point. But right now I can talk about things freely because I haven't made the plan yet. But I think, if I'm looking at like top 10, 12 picks, right? We've got Dragapults, we've got Muse, and we've got Zeraoras. Those are the top 3, I think, most likely. Those in most leagues I've been a part of, those are the 3 that seem to go first. But Como-O is broken this gen. It's stupid this gen. Kyurem getting Freeze Dry and Icicle Spear and Dragon Dance is stupid this gen. Necrozma getting Dragon Dance and also being itself and Stealth Rocks and everything else it already did, and not Mirror Armor, that's Corviknight's thing, whatever it's called, Prism Armor. That thing's stupid and broken.
It's low key just like the bulkiest support psychic you can get.
Oh yeah, and then
yeah,
there's so many mons that like the mainstays, the things that you think of as like the best mons in format, right? Even things like Clefable and Reuniclus and Terrakion and like even Hydreigon, which got really good this gen, just fall. They fall to lower positions because there's so many things that are just broken.
The 3 main...
I will say, with the boost to Rapid Spin, there are a few Pokemon on the tier 2 list that I think might go under the radar, but actually will possibly wheel round. And even though they are really good at Rapid Spin, there's a lot of power above them, so you might actually be able to wait until second picks for your Rapid Spin mon. There's quite a lot of good ones that will probably...
I would argue that, the removal is really good this gen. I've actually noticed that. The only thing that's really not great this gen is Toxic Spikes. There's just not a lot of mons that get it, and if you build a team that kind of wants it, it's so hard. But that doesn't mean there are none. It's just like Roserade, Acelgor, Cofagrigus, they kind of become more like high value, low tier mons because it's something like a niche that you really want to fill. But
it does take having a niche. I think probably one of the best ones is carrying over from Gen 7 in Toxapex, probably one of the best Toxic Spike setters.
Oh, 100%.
In the game. There's the new one, I can't remember its name, the one that sets up Electric Terrain on entry.
Yeah, Pincurchin.
Pincurchin.
Yeah, Pincurchin, that's probably set.
That is a really, really solid support mod.
It is really good.
It's got solid bulk and decent offenses, but it's also got incredible utility. It's actually a really solid tier 4 pick.
It's got utility, and you're probably not always going to bring in an Electric Terrain. It's both of its abilities are good in their own right, depending on the team you're going for. If you're going for, and I'm looking over between tier 2, 3, and 4, there's a pretty decent rain team setting up, and Pincurchin could be a good pick for you if you're going down the rain team. But then even if you don't bring that rain team for some reason and you bring a different team that you drafted, you still got the utility of having Electric Terrain. But on a rain team, it's got Volt Absorb, I believe. So
you can also run some weird build using like Toxic Spikes, Venom Drench, Venoshock, and Hex. Yes. You can even run that for some weird shenanigans.
Well, that's the thing. If you go tier 1 pick Dragapult, for example, or Corsola, both of which are looking to set up burn, you don't need Toxic Spikes. But I think both of them also get Hex, so you could actually be looking at using your tier 1 as your sweeper or defensive presence and still have Hex set up from your Pincurchin.
The only issue it has is that base 15 speed, really.
Yeah.
And that is a huge issue, especially if you're going to be running in any sort of offensive role. But it has enough bulk that it can sort of get away with it.
Well,
it's mainly its abilities, though. That's what it...
I say this a lot, and a lot of people look at their offensive and go, is this fast enough to be my offensive role? But then what they don't look at is this defensive enough to be my offensive role? It doesn't have to be fast to be a sweeper. You can sweep by taking hits and dishing them back 10 times stronger.
I mean, if you watch the anime, that's how Torterra did it.
Whoa, the reference of pulling out. I was like, that was awesome. This is what Joe brings to the table right now.
Since Gen 1, just look at every single time Ash has sent out Snorlax. It's been asleep, and it's taken 3 or 4 hits, woken up, punched him in the face, gone back to sleep.
You're talking about the same Snorlax that beat a Medicham?
Top 5 moves.
The same Snorlax that was too heavy to get hit by a seismic toss. Something trying to seismic toss it in the anime.
Oh yeah, that was Magmar.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was in that gym.
This fun fact drop of the anime is blowing my mind that people just have this memory of like these events. These are so specific to things that happened literally 20 or more years ago.
Listen.
I'm an avid anime watcher, okay? I can still quote things from early game One Piece.
Okay,
That's not something we should take for granted.
that is impressive.
I do want to address a couple of things before we get super sidetracked. I haven't been saying thank you, but to everybody who's followed so far this stream, Shattered, Splurge, Endless Gadgets, Hef, Joe, Alice, CJ, and Jake, thank you all so much for the follows. Playmaker, to answer your question why you can't sub to this channel is because it's not affiliate yet, because we don't have the followers, because this is the first time I've ever streamed on it. So the fact that in one stream we have almost 20 followers, we're like basically a third of the way there, that's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. We have 13 viewers right now, and I don't think we have much more than that followers. So if you're not following, make sure you do follow so that we can eventually continue to have more stuff for like emotes and things going on the channel, which I would really, it's something I really want to bring to you guys, but obviously can't do unless we have the follower count. So I just want to address that before we go too much further. Also, Slick left, but thanks for joining, Slick, for as long as you did. Hef is also heading out, so thanks for heading out for as long as you did, Hef, as well. And yeah, I just wanted to get all that out of the way before people started like dropping out, because it's been almost 2 hours of the stream, and I understand that. So sticking around for 2 hours is a long time. But I do want to appreciate.
Rambling at this point.
What?
Amber just kind of rambling at this point.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure that we were following some sort of trajectory. There's only one more thing I wanted to cover in this stream, as we move forward, and that is the draft and what's going to happen with that, so that people are aware of that draft and the season. So moving forward with this. So after this is done, I will let you guys continue to talk, and we can hang out on stream for a little bit longer. But I'm just going to go through the rest of what I was going to talk about. And so the first thing is this draft, right? It's starting up as soon as the stream ends. The draft chat opens for Joe to make his first pick, and we'll just go from there. And we are doing a slow draft. However, next Saturday is going to be the draft stream, regardless of how far we get into the draft by that point. If it's done, then it'll just be a recap stream, as usually draft streams are. If it is not done yet, then everything will be recapped up until we catch up to live, and then the draft will continue live and finish Saturday night. I don't know how far we're going to get in a week. I expect it's probably going to be done by then. But if it's not, we are finishing up next Saturday night, because we are starting the season the following week. So I'll give everyone that Saturday. There's a 1 week break, and then we're starting up the season right away. So there's 1 week in between where you guys can kind of build your teams, think about how you've built your team, and continue and like move on, and then we'll be starting up the season. So I want to push it as fast as possible. So the fact of the matter is, next Saturday is going to be the draft stream, which will be right here on this channel. Don't know who the commentators are going to be yet, but we will have commentators. People are going to be able to make their picks live if the draft isn't completed at that point. It'll be starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I know that's not super conducive to our couple of people who are further west than I am, but meh, I've got plans. So yeah, it's my mom's birthday is next weekend, so I've got to like deal with that. So I've got plans in the afternoon, so I've got to start early. What's up?
Is that stream gonna go on for like quite a while? If so, do you want me to do it to cover that? Because I'm quite used to 4 hour plus long length streams.
Yeah, we'll try to figure out who's around, and then also where we are in the draft at that time.
Yeah.
I think that's going to help to dictate.
10 a.m. Santa's coming.
I'm hoping it doesn't go on for 4 hours because I have to be somewhere at 4, and finishing this draft at 2 or the stream at 2 is going to be a little tight. But it is what it is. We're going to make it happen. So, yeah, so just a heads up on that one. That's what's happening down the road. And every single battle is going to be live streamed, which means I am trying to organize all these people that you've heard today and more, including Playmaker and Manbird and CJ, who are going to be doing power rankings on their own day. So the way it's going to work is next Saturday is the draft stream. And then after that on Wednesday, get ready for content to start because CJ and Manbird are going to be putting together their form of the post-draft power rankings. And they are going to be hosting a stream right here on the TBL Twitch channel talking about who they think is the best team post-draft prior to any battles being conducted. Following that, the next week, we're going to start up with battles. We are going to host streams every Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday during the day, and Saturday evening, and Sunday during the day. These are the options that players have in order to get battles done. No single person is going to be streaming that whole time. Obviously, that'd be insane. No person is actually streaming more than twice for the TBL per week. And I tried not to get anyone on back-to-back days as well, although I don't know if I was perfect on that, and I'm going to keep working on it. So I don't know who the streamers are going to be for those days yet, but just a heads up, we are going to be offering battles to coaches Thursday, Friday, Saturday for like 10 hours on Saturday, and Sunday. You can pick any time you want during the time of the live streams to organize your battle for, but you need to organize as coaches well in advance so that we know to be live at that time. Because if Thursday night nobody is battling, there won't be a stream Thursday night. That's just how it's going to go, because why would we host a stream if there's not going to be any battles? So we will be doing things in between battles. You don't have to be like, okay, we're starting the stream at 4 o'clock. I need to battle at 4 o'clock. If you can't battle until 6:30, we will start the stream at 5 and we will start talking about other things. And then there might be a battle at 5:30 and then a break where we talk about other things or have a break and come back at 6:30. The streams are going to be a little bit broken up. It's going to be a work in progress. There's going to be a lot going on, but we are going to make sure that we can get every single battle live streamed somewhere in that window. And if you don't have time during quarantine, somewhere between Thursday night and Sunday night to battle, then we will offer as well an option on Monday night the following week to do the battles as well with a stream if needed. That stream will exist. It won't exist otherwise for people who need that extra day just to get that in. And then Wednesdays are going to be the power rankings once again following the week prior. The doc is going to be updated live, so anyone who wants to follow along, !doc, and you will see the doc updated live every week as the battles happen. Literally, as soon as the battle is over, we will know what the stats are as a result of it. Because of the fact that I am encouraging people to upload to their own YouTube channels and stuff, but because of the fact that the battles are live streamed for an audience, I'm not having any problem with us updating the doc right away. So there's not going to be any hidden information anyway. But the other thing to note is that some of these players, some of these coaches do actually stream on their own. Actually, a good number of them do. That's what interested them in this league in the first place. They are encouraged to stream on their own channel as well with their own commentary. If you are somebody who wants to watch that, by all means, go watch their side and then maybe come back and watch the VOD of our commentary of their battle later. But we are going to be live streaming in addition to those coaches. We are not going to take away from their own views on their own channel. But the TBL Twitch channel is going to be used to stream every single game this season. So if you aren't following, that is something that you definitely want to do because this is an undertaking that I do not believe has ever happened in Draft League before. And not to a degree like this. Getting this organized has been a multi-month project just to get it to this point. And I originally planned to start this in January. It's mid-May, and we will be this is the first time I've really had a chance to do it. And so we will be coming at you multiple times throughout the week with various coaches, various people streaming to try to get you guys tons of content and background and insight into things. And maybe we'll have coach interviews that we can play during streams and stuff. I might try to organize that. I don't know exactly how it's going to go. There's going to be tons of stuff though going on. So hopefully you guys are excited for this. And it's just going to be it's going to be great. Oh, the Discord. That's a good thing for me to set up. So yeah, that is all I wanted to cover. So for anybody who's got to go, thank you all so much for hanging out and coming to this stream. I really do appreciate it. For my stream team, I'm not forcing you guys off. I will give us at least 10 more minutes to get to that 2-hour mark for this stream before I say let's potentially wrap up the stream. But if you guys want to talk and hang out, continue to discuss draft picks or things or strategies that you like or find interesting or ideas for the future, I am all ears, and this is a great platform for it. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you guys are going to be excited for this season of TBL, which is going to be bigger and better than literally anything I have tried to do on the internet in my entire life. And that is not something that you can say lightly. So that is all I have to say. That was a lot more words than I thought it was going to be. So
That was a lot of words.
take it away, everybody else. While I
just message
You
the
might not
Discord
like that, or is that
to
it,
give a
Rob?
suggestion.
I actually see your suggestion. I was looking at the Discord chat,
Yeah.
sort of, and yeah, I like that as a concept. We can talk about it
Yeah.
and figure out what the logistics would be.
We'll just slide behind.
Yeah, the one thing I would think about that would it might encourage like picks that might not have crossed people's minds, so it might skew how they would pick. But it might be interesting for the people who aren't in the league to hear how these might get used during the league.
Playmaker, can you test the link again, or the command again? Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. And I think we could also do that stream. Like, I don't think that stream would necessarily influence, like, people will have a strategy by the point that we do that. I don't think we're going to do it like tomorrow.
If they're in the league, they've probably already got a strategy.
Yeah, so I would assume that'll probably be something like if you're free like this Wednesday, maybe.
Yeah, I'll be free this Wednesday.
That would probably be a good
about
time.
6 o'clock my time, so
I
This
can't
is
join
about
for that because I've got work, but I'm sure somebody will be around at that time. We
yeah,
can.
I mean, if someone's around, I've actually experienced a lot of the new Gen 8 Pokemon. I've actually bred or soft reset for quite a lot of them as well. So I have gotten my fair share of knowledge already from Gen 8 games, even though I've actually only owned this game for about a month or two. In about a month or two, I have actually successfully gotten battle ready about, well, let's see, that's one full box and an extra 12, so about 42 Pokemon already battle ready,
Wow.
with 2 more that are nearly finished as well.
I've had it since the release, and I can honestly say I've yet to make anything battle ready that I haven't had gen.
I did that Mamoswine, Joe.
I have 0 battle total. I just haven't touched Sword and Shield for a while.
I transitioned away from it
for
but like
yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Sorry, go on.
I actually enjoyed the story of it, but I didn't actually end up making anything really. I went straight to Draft League for this gen. Gen 7, I actually did a lot more like breeding and stuff like that. But this gen, I went straight to Draft League, and so I really didn't.
God, Gen 7. I miss those Pokemon. I have over 70 battle-ready Pokemon still in Gen 7. I only transferred up probably about 12 because the rest weren't in the game.
Dude,
In Gen 7, I think it was 84 by the time I got the Sword and Shield, my copy of Shield. I had 84 battle-ready Pokemon.
Wow.
All of them bred and raised by me, and since I have only ever actually in tournaments, I've only ever used 1 legendary. In all my tournaments, I've only ever used 1 legendary. In my local area is known for it. Because I just dislike, I liked the challenge that came with using nothing but non-legendaries, like not having access to those crazy stats.
I feel that.
I mean, it was in Gen 7 for VGC tournament. I brought a Alolan Muck with multi-scale Dragonite.
Nice.
Hidden ability Alolan Muck to trace multi-scale onto the Muck and acid armor up to max defense.
That's
Terrifying.
It was, because it had rest on it as well.
Oh, you suck.
I'm not sure if that's like a dick move or if that's just creativity.
Oh, it's
was-
both.
It wasn't just complete taunt bait. I think if I remember correctly, the complete moveset was acid armor, toxic, rest, and knockoff. The knockoff was there purely to get rid of like berries and stuff like that, as well as to stop me from just being taunt bait. It was quite hilarious, and it was nicknamed Dream Killer because my test partner at the time played against it, and it crushed them.
It's always
They
nice to
just
have
had nothing that could answer it. But looking over these, looking over this thing, I'm just at the actual draft part of the pool. I'm looking at it and thinking, whether I can safely say that there's going to be weather teams. There are going to be weather teams to commentate on. I'm looking and seeing quite a good pool of Pokemon to choose from for those teams. I think looking at Tier 4, there's going to be a few standouts from there that actually will probably be seen in most weeks.
Yeah,
And I'm seeing...
Isn't there like a solid team play for every single weather in this game?
There is actually a solid team play for every single weather. Especially, I think, I was discussing this the other day, and I think the best weathers in order for once is not rain at top. I think it's hail, then rain, then sand, and sun.
Sand would be up top in a Dynamax league probably, but we don't have Dynamax
In
here.
a Dynamax league, sand would be up top because you don't need access to Tyranitar.
Excadrill's still broken
hail,
though. Like
hail comes with such a bonus, and I think it's honestly thanks to Lone and Ninetales that you can actually safely say that hail is probably on the top of the weather gauntlet. But what I'm also seeing is above weather. I think the most common team, and I think 2 or 3 people might actually draft this team, is going to be Trick Room.
I hate Trick.
There are quite a few good bulky options for defensive sweepers. Namely, looking over at Tier 2, I'm seeing... Where was it? I swear I saw it in Tier 2. Yeah, Copper Asia, there it is. For your physical one, as well as your Rock Setter. You've got that for a good Trick Room option. You've also got access to, if you choose to go Perish Body, Cursor can actually be a pretty good offensive special Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got Decidueye, which despite having been seen on faster teams, does have a decent enough lowest speed to actually use on a Trick Room team. So seeing those 3 in the tiers 2 and 3, and then you've got good Trick Room setters such as Tier 2. You've got Mimikyu. You've got plenty of Trick Room setters in the format that you could probably build a decent team. Phalanx actually is a very underrated Pokemon for Trick Room. The other reason being, you've got the new item, which I think might show up.
Room service.
Room
right?
service.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that item was put in thanks to the inclusion of so many good items.
I actually almost ran room service against a Trick Room team.
Room service against the Trick Room team, if you're expecting it, would be a good niche play.
It was.
You have to make a very good prediction.
You don't have to switch into it. I mean, you just have to basically think it's coming, because if you switch in and the Trick Room's already up, it activates, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's not like on the turn.
The Trick Room's already up. I'm all about like the prediction of actually if they do bring it. If you bring room service and don't correctly predict that they brought Trick Room themselves, you've just wasted an item slot.
I didn't bring it.
You were also doing it.
But I thought about it. It was very. I was using it as close to the battle as Mox. And people were bringing Trick Room. It just didn't end up being a useful item.
I did end up bringing it in the preseason. I brought room service in the preseason and never got to use Trick Room. Because I never got Trick Room up, the room service never procced. It was a really weird set. I think it was a half-speed IV Lucario. It wasn't maxed out EVs, it wasn't minimum IVs, it was half IVs in speed.
I actually just brought... well, actually, I think the battle goes up tomorrow. I brought a 14 IV Surfetched. The team builder went up today for my semifinal battle in the PBAL, because it outspeeds Hippowdon with 4-speed investment, 4-speed EVs, but underspeed Scrafty for Trick Room. So
But I'm also looking over tier 5 here, because tier 5 is usually consider the duds, the bottom of the barrel, the Pokemon you're not going to see very often.
There are
every
some
week.
good tier 5 Pokemon.
I like to think of
Exactly what I
tier
was
5
thinking.
as
I'm
the niche
looking
picks
at
that only come a couple
Zweilous.
times.
Zweilous actually is one of those Pokemon that might come in. How many weeks are we doing? 6? I think
8.
Zweilous is one of those. 8, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I think Zweilous might actually come in at least 3 of the weeks. Whoever picks Zweilous might, depending on the rest of their pool. Obviously, we
so
can
now
only
we're
make
assuming it's gonna
predictions
be
at
a
the
fifth.
moment. It's one of those Pokemon that you could see multiple times, not just the odd once or twice niche to counter the opponent, but it's got some good. It's got a decent special, as well as
It
the
has
bulk,
decent
so-
physical.
Yeah, it's
Hustle,
bulky enough as
hustle,
well.
hustle.
I'm also looking over it, thinking Meowstick has a decent range of moves that it learns, and is a nice healer. You might see that against opposing teams that have a lot of like Toxic or Will-O-Wisp users. You've got Carkol, decent Eviolite user. Blossom if you're running a Sun team. And Beartic if you're running low on setup Pokemon on the physical side. Other Pokemon which I think deserve an honorable mention: Leafeon, Linoon, Galarian, and I think you can probably also count Mr. Mime in there. Mr. Mime got quite the upgrade this generation, even though it's not the Galarian one. You've got the upgrade of, I think it still gets Rapid Spin.
It does not.
You got access to
Does it?
that.
Only
I'm not sure.
the
I know
Galarian one got
Galarian
Rapid Spin.
one.
Yeah.
Only the Galarian one got it. Okay, well, you still got the screen setter.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you've lost a lot of the counters from Mr. Mime. The smaller move pool actually gave quite a few Pokemon a bonus, and Mr. Mime is one of them.
Yeah, because this is post-home, a lot of Pokemon got their moves back that they had lost, which is good and
Yeah.
bad. It's really a double-edged sword because a lot of things that lost Toxic got it back. A lot of things that lost Roost got
Yeah.
it back. A lot of things that lost Knockoff got it back. So things like Mr. Mime really appreciated the less bulk because things didn't have Roost, the lack of Toxic coming around, and the fact that things didn't have Knockoff flying around. Those are back, and that isn't great for it, but I do agree that Psychic Fairy as a type got way better. Gardevoir benefits the most of anything, but like as a typing, it got really good because the main counters you want to deal with are almost all dragons, and a significant number of those dragons do not deal well with a secondary psychic option, right? Obviously, Hydreigon notwithstanding, but Como-O doesn't want to deal with the fairy type, doesn't want to deal with the psychic type. Dragapult, doesn't want to switch in on psychic because it's not going to resist it. Dracovish doesn't want to switch in on psychic because it's not going to resist it. So,
For rosters.
is there a tier page for rosters?
Well, I'm not sure. I know we got this page right here for the tier of like what Pokemon there are, but I think they're asking about what tiers people are allowed to pick. I think that's the home screen.
Like a
isn't it?
draft,
Yeah, how many of each?
the draft?
Oh, on the draft
Yeah.
tab, you'll see down below where all the teams are listed, the picks, the required picks, the draft requirements.
So, yeah, you got 180, 120 draft requirements. 1 tier 1, 1 tier 2, 1 tier 3, 1 tier second tier 3, 1 tier 4, 1 tier 5, and then the rest are free for 400 total free points.
Yeah.
So
So-
I'm just going over the draft requirements.
10 Mons. Is Ayers? Welcome to the stream. I'm not actually sure if I said that right. You can tell me if I got it wrong. But welcome to the stream. We are
I think
actually.
is theirs.
Yeah, I was. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I
it is
pride
tough.
myself historically on being able to say the names of the viewers that come into my chat,
Yeah.
and I feel like they've gotten harder. I feel like names have gotten
Yeah,
weirder since
it-
2016,
things
man.
have gotten a lot harder in like the week to. I've been a streamer for I think 3 coming on 4 years, and back in like the first year of streaming, names were easy. After that, people just started coming with like harder and harder to say names.
I know, isn't that weird? Like I also started in like 2016, and I feel like
Yeah.
the names were fine. I had no trouble with it, and now it's just like those are a combination of letters I've never seen
Am
before.
I saying this right? Am I saying this name right? Correct
Wait,
me if I'm
Day-
wrong, and I'm sorry if I got it wrong.
Daynese rhymes
Right.
with how in the world would I say that rhymes with Daynese. Izaries?
Dykeness. So
Dykenese?
Cyrus? I don't know. I don't know.
Is
I don't know
Cyrus?
if we're saying that. We're trying our best.
We're doing everything we can to come up with how that helped us pronounce it. We apologize that we're struggling. But yeah,
So another Pokemon that actually gained a bonus from the smaller pool of Pokemon in general is actually Claydol. And that one getting Rapid Spin, one of the weakest things about Claydol was it was too fast for a Trick Room, too slow for a for like a fast sweeper. But what it does have is defenses. And having access to another Pokemon to Rapid Spin, having that ability to bump up its speed, remove the entry hazards, and then have access to like Hypnosis, gives it a bonus to be able to get up fast while your opponent's asleep, and then hit them hard with on the special side with things like Psychic.
I mean, I ran a because Rapid Spin's buff to speed is just stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, in all ways. The fact that they got it's 50 power now and also boost speed. I ran a Assault Vest Claydol with Rapid Spin that just would outspeed everything and then would proceed to try to sweep. I didn't win the game, to be fair, but I tried, and that was not that Claydol's fault. It got like 2 kills. So like, I don't know. Yeah, it's a surprisingly good mon. It has a lot of roles, and yeah, it kind of got stuck with a jack of all trades, master of none role before, but now I feel like it actually has more of a niche. The Rapid Spin buff really benefited a number of Pokemon this gen.
But Rapid Spin buff is something that should never be overlooked. I mean, it did actually not just count as a buff, but also a debuff to some Pokemon. So another Pokemon which I'm actually looking at in Tier 4 right now, it actually got a debuff from the speed, from the 100% speed boost. And that's Avalugg. So Avalugg has always been known as a very defensive Pokemon that could really utilize Gyro Ball. It's probably one of the best uses out of most Pokemon. And having that buff to such a Rapid Spin, Avalugg used to come in, sweep away all the setup, and then hit hard with Gyro Ball. It can't do that now. You actually now have to choose. Do you want to use Rapid Spin, or do you want to use Gyro Ball?
Joe, were you going to say something?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to chime in. I just didn't want to interrupt anything.
Sorry.
You might no, you're good. Because it has no relevance to Avalugg and Rapid Spinning. I put up a new logo. It's going to look exactly the same to most people, except to me, it's very different. Because I know exactly what I changed.
How does that work?
If you put them side by side, so when I photoshopped the arms to make the socks for the Red Sox, but Regirock, I don't know what happened, but there were some little pointy fronds, is what I called them, that stuck out from the bases of, and then around the interior and exterior of the arms, the individual arms, there were some color blurs, and it was really bothering me when it popped up on the screen. And I was like, oh crap, my work's being shown. So I fixed it while we were sitting here.
So you guys are in the league. Do any of the Pokemon actually stand out to you as what you consider to be probably the best of each of the entry hazard setters in this format?
Of the setters,
so like the best rock setter, best sticky web setter, that sort of thing.
Okay, so I have a lot of experience with Draft League in general, and this is my 5th Gen 8 league or something, maybe 6th at this point. So I've started to see what sort of the trends are. It's interesting because I think the best rocker is a debate for another day. There's too many, and they're all really good for different reasons.
I do agree.
Yeah, so like,
especially in this game.
I was looking at a team, and literally 6 of them that I wanted had rocks. I was
like
okay.
Is it the best mon for setting up stealth rocks reliably? Right? Is it the best mon for that has access to rocks? Is it the best mon that in the matchups where you choose to make it a rocker, it's really, really good at that? Right? Because I think, for instance, the best mon quantifiably, or like earliest drafted mon that has access to rocks, is going to be Mew. But I don't think Mew's the best rocker because it doesn't always want to set up rocks.
Not just Mew. I think earliest mon to be drafted that has rocks would actually possibly either be Mew or Corsola. Either of those two both get rocks and both very valid for being one of the earliest picks.
Yeah, I agree. And so Necrozma is
So
also
we're
really good.
ignoring Ferrothorn at this point.
Pharaoh is also really good. Well, I don't think Pharaoh's going to go that early, but
I
you know,
don't like my mascot, but I can't deny that Corsola will get picked above Ferrothorn.
but yeah, so like, I think Ferrothorn's probably the one that most runs rocks. That is the most likely to be able to set them up in any given matchup. But then, so for sticky webs, that's a little bit more interesting because there's fewer mons that get webs. Rabombi is, in my opinion, the most reliable setter because it's so fast and it just gets them up.
Yeah.
But I actually think that Araquanid is probably the mon that
more consistent
gets it consistently.
that.
Yeah. And then Galvantula's, I mean, it was the original sticky webber and it's still really good at it. There is no way to deny that Galvantula does its job as a sticky webber incredibly well. It's never done anything wrong in any league that I've had it. You know, it does its job. It doesn't always have to set them up though, and that's the other thing. It's like Rabombi doesn't always want to set up webs. Galvantula doesn't always want to set up webs. Slurpuff doesn't always want to set up webs. Araquanid sort of does, and I think that's what makes it like really good in my mind. It like does want to set up webs every time.
I think what we have to look at here when it comes to what you just said very correctly with those three Pokemon that set up webs. Each of them does it a different way. Rimbombi usually goes Choice Scarf, I'm going to get out, I'm going to get the webs up, or I might U-turn. I think it's U-turn they usually use to like just switch out if it's a bad time to set it up. So that one's coming in for one roll only. Either I'm going to attack or I'm going to set up the webs. Then you want to look at the, what was the second one you said? It was Araquanid. Araquanid is going in to be defensive. I'm going to be sitting here, I'm going to set up the webs, I'm going to set up a Toxic, I'm going to possibly stall out a bit of the PP of your moves. Then when it's time for me to heal before I die, I'm going to switch out and let something else take the reign. Then we want to look at the God. I always blank on this one's name. The like Slurpuff's evolution.
It's Slurpuff.
With sticky webs.
Slurpuff is the evolution.
Slurpuff is the evolution. I hate those Pokemon. I never actually paid much attention to them.
Where's Manbird?
Oh my god.
Coming in hot.
I hate those Pokemon. I'm willing to say it. But yeah, those ones actually, that one's, it's similar to Araquanid, but it's more on the special side. It's coming in and it's going to like do a bit of hits, and its usually defensive move is sticky webs. It'll be its non-attacking move, and it'll have like 2 to 3 specially offensive moves.
Unless it's Belly Drum.
It's a hit.
Yeah.
Belly Drum swept me before.
Belly Drum is OP.
I have seen Belly Drum sets before in the past. There are Belly Drum sets out there. I've more commonly seen the Flamethrower.
Calm Mind, Citrus Berry, something.
Yeah.
As far as going back to new ones, Spikes, I think we're gonna probably all agree is gonna go back to Ferrothorn. That's not an interesting answer.
Yeah.
But it's the right answer objectively. Then if you want to like not have Ferrothorn be your best spiker, then you're probably looking at I don't know, Roserade as the next best spiker for as far as like reliability for setting up spikes.
Okay, hold up.
I kind of feel bad for Spikes because it's
Delibird?
seat to rocks.
Joe, if you draft Delibird, you're a hero.
Well, I think Playmaker already told me I had to because I made an elf quote before.
And then Toxic Spikes, I think Roserade is the best Toxic Spike setter. Personally, I think that's true, but you could make an argument for Coffagrigus or Runerigus for being very, very reliable at it. And Toxapex obviously is good. I just think personally, I'm disappointed with Toxapex in draft because it's a little too passive for me, my playstyle.
It is.
I hate Toxapex.
It's too passive and also doesn't die, so it's like frustrating to play with and it's frustrating to play against. So it's like just never fun. So for the
I think Toxapex takes the right team. And
you mean the one with you paired Toxapex with Umbreon?
I did do that.
You did do that. And didn't you have Ferrothorn on that team too?
No, definitely not. It was
Okay.
it was my Galarian Darmanitan though.
That's what it was.
Umbreon,
It was
Pex,
G-Darm.
Cabalion team.
I think an argument could be made also for one of the better Stealth Rock setters being actually Ferroseed.
I mean, it's not better than Ferrothorn.
Sure.
But for value, I totally agree.
Yeah, it's good for like it's again right team. A lot of these Pokemon do require right team, which is why they are lower down in the pool. Ferroseed is actually down in tier 4. But these Pokemon take like correct support Pokemon.
Yeah, so the way I think about it is that tier 4 and 5, they're not bad mons. They're not junk mons. They're mons that fill. So basically, your tier 1 mon is the mon that you want to bring every week because it can do so many different things. Right? Every mon in tier 1 has like 17 different roles it could fill in a given week, depending on the matchup. In tier 5, the role that it fills is just very narrow. That doesn't mean it's a bad role. It doesn't mean it's an unimportant role.
Right.
It just means that the role that it's going to fill is very similar week to week. And if you don't need that role, you don't need that mon. Right? So that's why I don't think they're bad mons. But for instance, do I think that Roserade is a really good Toxic Spike setter? Yes, absolutely. Do I think Garbodor is a really good Toxic Spike setter? Absolutely. But I think Garbodor doesn't do as many other things as Roserade does, so it's not as highly tiered. Right?
Oh wait, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Legal in this?
What's up?
Gen? Is simple legal in this draft?
Yes.
Oh, the ability, yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I had a really long debate about Moody, but simple is not a problem.
I'm also thinking this, if the expansion pass comes out before the league starts, a lot of these Pokemon are going to be better in their tiers than necessarily other Pokemon.
We are not
in their
allowing
tiers.
like post DLC content or anything like that.
Yeah.
So anything that's released with the expansion pass is going to be
like
not allowed for the season.
abilities on some of these Pokemon will be released with the expansion pass.
Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind drafting an HA Rillaboom. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah. Grassy Surge, Willaboom.
I wouldn't mind a Sniper Inteleon.
Out of
Let me
tier
just
3.
slap
Yeah, no, I think that'd
let me
be...
just slap a scope lens on that and always crit you with what's it? Snipe shot?
I mean, I'm looking at Dracovish, Dragapult, Arctovish.
I mean, Surfetch'd already crits.
That's like
So.
Dracovish, Dragazult, and those ones, yeah. All those are their hidden abilities.
I mean, I don't think
Fossils.
Dracovic is going to run anything but Strong Jaw, ever.
Yeah,
It really shouldn't.
I mean, it's the rain team. It could free up its because doesn't it get Swift Swim? Is it? Is it Swift Swim or is it
Water
Slush
Absorb.
Rush?
It gets Water Absorb. Its hidden ability, I think, is... I don't
Or is
actually
it
know.
Water Absorb is its hidden ability.
I don't remember.
Sandrush, Strong Jaw,
I'm
Water
looking.
Absorb. I'm not sure which is hidden ability.
Water Absorb, Strong Jaw, or normal Sandrush is hit.
Sand
Rush
Rush.
is hidden, yeah.
That's
Sandrush
weird.
actually could be a scary option if it
Oh,
had.
that
Yeah,
could be a
Sandrush
pretty
freeing up,
terrifying.
I didn't
Choice
realize it was
Star.
Sand Rush. That's super random.
Yeah. It's they've all got like some sort of speed boosting hidden ability, don't they?
Yeah, isn't it usually either Slush Rush or Sand Rush?
I know Arctozolt is Slush Rush.
Well, that makes sense because
Yeah,
it's an ice type.
Slush Rush.
If this thing's a dragon water type that
Dragon
boosted speed
Water
in
getting
sand.
Sand Rush is
Yeah.
really weird. I thought it was Swift Swim, honestly.
Yeah,
Which would make more
Arctozolt
sense on a water
is Slush Rush.
That thing has Swift Swim and
Dracozolt is Sand Rush.
Yeah.
rain boosted Choice Band Fishious Friend.
But I mean, it's
It's
that's
very
no stronger than
terrifying
Strongjaw, right? Like Strongjaw is actually probably going to be stronger
Yeah.
than that.
Arctovish is Slush Rush. So it's either Slush Rush or Sand Rush.
See, if it's Slush Rush or Sand Rush.
Right.
So either way, like having the like speed boost means that some of them will free up their slots on a Choice Scarf, meaning that they'll be able to actually do more things. One thing that does hold back slightly is their choice locked into a move if they want to go first.
Yeah, play. We're
So-
just talking about. We're just. I don't even know. We're
Yeah.
going so far beyond because we're not actually even going to allow that this season. Like it's not even going to be legal. So
No, but if you were to allow them that this season, it would have actually bumped up a few of them in their respective tiers.
I agree, but I don't
So
want
it
to.
makes
I don't want to
sense to
give
know.
force people to take a draft pick of something that isn't even like is for halfway through the season. That was
Yeah.
that was done in the PCL. We knew Home was going to come out during the course of the season, so you were allowed to draft things and then use their stuff from home when it came out. And someone was like, I will draft Mew, even though Mew sucks pre-home, because by the time playoffs come around, it's going to be broken.
Exactly.
And I just thinking about that exact experience, don't want to have to deal with people planning drafts around 6 weeks into the season.
Cinderace is the starter, right?
Yeah.
When that Cinder ability comes out, that is going to be probably one of the best Pokemon to come out of Gen 8.
I think it's going to get banned from draft league.
It's basically like Protean.
Yeah, it's
Protean. Just Greninja 2.0, but with better stats.
Yeah,
And a fire type.
And a base fire type, which I argue is actually a detriment. Greninja being neutral to rocks was really nice.
Yeah, but at the same time, Greninja just
having the ability
so much. It has the worst defensive typing I can think of.
Why not just call it Protean?
Exactly what I questioned when I saw the hidden ability. But
I mean,
that it doesn't have over Greninja. Is Greninja have the ability to switch in on Psychic?
I argue, Joe. I hear your point about naming it Protean, and I raise you Pure Power.
Yeah.
But at least they were halfway there. They were like, Pure Power? What should we call this one? Oh, Huge Power. Same thing. Yeah, that's why they both have power in it.
The description of the ability is literally the same.
Exactly.
Literally word for word.
Exactly my point. But with one thing that Cinderace has over Greninja, although it can't switch in on Psychic as an immunity, it does have a really strong signature attack in Pyro Ball, as well as the ability to literally just change the
Court change is actually it's in my opinion better signature attack. That thing is broken.
Yeah.
That move is stupid. Even without its hidden ability, that move is broken.
Yeah, even without it. I mean, you got Pyro Ball and Court change, which are never going to change, given it when its hidden ability comes out. But the ability to change it to a normal type using Court change.
That is actually a really nice option.
But Boots, Cinderace, even without hidden ability, just like your opponent sets up all these hazards, Boots, ignore all of them, Court change, here you go, one move, done.
Exactly.
And it always outspeeds because this gen is very slow. Like it's, oh my god, it's.
I've had Court change just take my screens and give it to my opponent.
Nice.
Yeah, that's gonna make Hill teams a little bit risky if Cinderace gets picked.
Yeah.
Because that thing probably just hard decimates Hail teams, because if you're relying on Veil, that just takes your Veil and destroys you with the type matchup as well.
I mean, the other thing which I've also noticed is if you don't successfully draft Alone Ninetales, you've still got Veil Setter in a Bomber Snow in tier 4, and in tier 3 you've got Arctivish.
Well, Vanillux does it for free.
Those are valid.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's Vanillux?
Tier 3.
And I'd like to point out that Vulpix is actually a really weird pick, but it also covers most of the same rules as Alolan Ninetales with Eviolite access.
Exactly, yeah.
Where did I put Alolan Vulpix?
Where is Vanillux?
It's not on there.
Oh, I didn't list it.
Isn't on the dock. Probably default T5.
I will default to tier 5, yeah.
Tier 3 Vanillux.
Vanillux is
Vanillux
there.
in 2 tiers a couple days ago?
No, that was Vullaby.
Vullaby was in 2 tiers.
No, Vanillux was on 2 tiers.
Oh, Vanillux was also in 2 tiers. This doc, I tried, guys.
Playmaker is...
What?
Playmaker actually did say in their chat, Libro is a position in both Volleyball and Snooker. Synonymous for sweeper for soccer.
Okay, Vulpix is on dock now.
It does. I also looked it up. It does have different wording than Protean too.
But it does. It's functionally the same.
That you're dual typed at first.
And they were also going to make something in Gen 3. They were going to make like soundproof and something that was the same as soundproof. I saw somewhere.
Yeah, in Gen 3 there was another.
I have to say,
a little differently though.
Air Balloon Rotom fan in tier 5. Someone's gonna bring that Air Balloon meme.
Is it me? Is it me? Oh, I think it's me. It's gonna be me. What?
I think Rotom 5's Rotom 5.
I can't say that I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it.
Rodon Fan is a really good tier 5 pick. Let's be honest.
It is a good T5 pick.
Um,
So I'm gonna head out for dinner.
Yeah.
It's
Anyway, I was actually about to
6:30.
end the stream, so good job, Joe.
I'm
Good
gonna
timing.
head out as well.
Yeah,
So
I managed to sneak back.
I will just so once the stream is down, I will just say what I was going to say earlier. But I'm just going to message it to you after the stream, but since you're in the voice chat anyway.
And draft starts. Oh boy.
all right, yeah. So as soon as the stream ends, draft starts. So for anyone who has joined during the end of stream discussion portion of the stream, we are the TBL, the Twitch Battle League, is going to be starting up on this channel more or less for the rest of the summer. We are doing an 8-week regular season as well as 3 weeks of playoffs, quarterfinals. Well, it's sort of like football style quarterfinals. So it's top 6 make it, and then 2 plays 3, and then later the 1 plays because 1 gets a bye. So anyway, but there are 12 teams. They are listed on your screen right now and have been for the last 45 minutes because I haven't changed this slide. This is the draft order, and you will see potentially a video or a stream coming out this week, maybe on Wednesday afternoon if you're in the. I'm just doing it from Eastern Standard Time. Potentially stream Wednesday evening discussing the types of mons and drafts that you can make, featuring some of the streamers. And then next Saturday, I will be back live again as well personally to do the draft stream with at least one co-commentator. And we will be bringing you tons of battling content. Now, I know there wasn't any battles today, but in the future, there will be many battles. So definitely come follow, check that out. We are going to try to push this towards becoming a mainstay of Draft League content on the internet for something that has never been done before, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. So I will be posting this to the Twitch Battle League YouTube channel, the whole draft VOD stream, this stream, all streams will be posted over there in their entirety. So definitely check those out if you missed any of it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I really do appreciate everyone and all the support from people who have come out today. I should make that YouTube channel a link. I will do that.
The YouTube channel in the stream.
But I hope you guys have enjoyed this stream, and I hope you guys are excited to come back and hang out as we continue to move forward with the TBL this season. Season 5 looks to be the biggest and best ever, and I really appreciate to my co-commentators who have helped me so much already this season. You guys don't even know all the stuff they've done behind the scenes for me. So thank you all to you guys who are here, as well as those who are here but not actually in call, as well as those who aren't here or anywhere, just around and have helped in the past. Thank you all so much, and hope you guys enjoyed the stream today, and we will see you all back here soon.
Eventually.
I'm not sure if it's Wednesday or Saturday, but
At some point.
thank you all so much for watching. Take care, everybody.